Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
The second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Borden with us
at Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
What's going on, everyone? July 31st, 2023. We are getting into August. I am Jimmy Barr here with Jeremy Zarfos and Chris Lynn. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. We are back. We missed about 2 weeks. Not much happened. Anything? I don't know if anything even notable. We're debating on even having a show today because just nothing's going on. There's just
barely had a reason to have a show.
Yeah, couldn't even think of one.
This is going to be a fun one. We have a lot to catch up on. I think we got a lot of opinions, not only from ourselves, but all of you guys in the chat. So make sure you guys drop them into the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure we want to hear what you guys think, your hot takes, your opinions, your questions. Just drop them on in. Yeah. So guys, how you guys doing?
I'm fantastic. I don't like missing shows and I hate not doing these, but I feel like some of the drivers, man, need a break. We've been going hard for months now, it feels like, even with all the rainouts. It feels like by Monday night, you're just like, okay, I'm ready for a break. We've had tons of Sunday shows and but we knew we had to be back tonight. Just a matter of circumstance last couple of weeks, actually, the way it kind of worked out. So I'm excited for this one tonight. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it, being back and, covering a lot of things that we've been fighting about while we're not here. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we were you guys went to, I didn't know Jeremy went to go help BAPS get ready for the Outlaw show. And then I was going to Hyper Speed Week, which ended up getting rained out. I got, about after showtime would have started. So, and then last week was just kind of like you said, we're just like run down. It's needed that midsummer break.
Were you back from Pocono by then even?
I was back from Pocono. I was recovering, but I was back.
Napping. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. We got to start off. All of a sudden, it's been a big carousel. Silly season is upon us. So many driver changes. especially here in PA.
Yeah, Posseland has lost its mind.
But yeah, Posseland is up in arms. Even Brett Marks scared us at one point, saying, "I'm taking a break," and everybody's like, "We're in the middle of all this craziness." So let's just go overview real quick some of the big moves here that have happened.
And
Um,
more local moves,
yeah,
regional even with the 49 to 45 there obviously been more than this, but we really wanted to focus on the ones that we could get through without being here for 6 hours.
yeah.
So
So you got
we'll
Anthony
start.
Macri right before the million, jumping out of the car. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes going on there. I don't know if we necessarily need to go into all that,
We
but
don't?
But we
we
don't know
could.
it
We
all.
could.
So either way,
Whatever
he's
you,
not in the car. Lance drove the car for the million and the King's Royal.
yes. And then you had Tyler Courtney get injured at the Eldora Million, or during the King's Royal, I guess. And that opened up a seat for Anthony Macri to jump in there for all-star shows, but not for high-limit shows. He's going in Bernie 71, and that opened up a seat also for Corey Day to jump into the 7BC for the high-limit shows. Right now, going back to the 39M real quick, you have Justin Sanders in there right now, but Lance DeWeese has been actually running a second car. He ran the million, and then
Grandview.
and then he ran Grandview, and then he was going to run Port Royal in the 39M. While they were out Midwest with the All Stars with Justin Sanders out in Knoxville. And that being said, Lance DeWeese out of the 69K, which was me and Chris were a little bit in tears. Very not. I wasn't that shocked by it. I was shocked at the timing. I wasn't shocked that he was going to get out of that was going to end up happening. I thought maybe more at the end of the year, but
The morning after the Summer Nationals.
yeah, somewhere around there. Like I thought they'd at least get through the season and then go their separate ways, but that opened up the door for Logan Wagner to run the Port Royal shows in the 69K, which puts the Zemco 1Z kind of idle right now for open. So we got 3 open rides here. So if so they choose. Yeah. Well, so which one do we want to start with first? Do we want to start with? We kind of touched on the Macri thing the last show because it was right before the million. The news just kind of came out. We were finding all that out. And now it's a real thing. We thought maybe they would just fight, and then by the end of the week he'd be back in it, But this seems like a real deal.
Yeah, it is, and I still have this weird back of my mind that they'll just get over it, figure it out, and it'll resolve itself. I still because we have not. There's no precedent for this other than we know there's been issues in the past internally on that team and whatever. But I don't know if anyone really thought it would go this far to actually have it be its own team with its driver that doesn't have the same last name as the family that owns it. It's just a strange ordeal. This doesn't happen very often. Typically, when a family team, something happens in a family team, that car just doesn't race anymore. So it's a weird thing. And honestly, my first instinct when this all happened at the 39 just wouldn't race.
Yep.
But, I really was because there's not really precedent in this way for this. So if they're going to continue to be a team without Anthony, great. There's another car that's out there on the road, and we need more. Always good owners and good that are committed to doing it. So I'm happy about it. I didn't foresee that being a thing. So okay, great. But I still have this thing in the back of my mind that they're going to get it figured out and team back up at some point. And listen, if they do, great. Hope it fixes it for the good, and I hope it fixes it forever. If they don't, and I hope that Anthony goes on and does his thing and finds a stable, secure ride, and I hope the 39M continues to race forever. That would be the best case scenario. Best case scenario is he ends up back in the family car going, but right now I don't see that is in the cards. So sounded like that got pretty heated at one point, and then they went their ways. So there's that.
And now they're following each other around the country.
There's a lot of questions to be answered. Justin or Tyler Courtney's not out for the whole season, contrary to a report or two, and he's not out for the whole season based on his own tweet that said, "I never said I was out for the season." So we still have some dominoes still to fall, and not only with some of these other things that we just talked about, but the first one. So we'll see how it all ends up and how it shakes out. But Anthony's hopefully starting to get comfortable in the 7BC, and I heard people already being like, "Oh, he needs to, leave that or do something else." Or listen, relax, Aaron Rodgers, relax, okay?
But you guys feel though
Relax.
like he's.
Who else is going to go into 7BC better than
Well,
Anthony Macri and get better results right
maybe
now?
Corey Day does. That's I mean, if you're Anthony Macri, you have to be thinking you're taking a big bet on yourself to leave your comfortable spot for whatever reason, and now you're in one of the top rides, definitely the top all-star ride. I mean, you're not been bad, but you're not doing what Tyler Courtney was doing with it. If Corey Day jumps in there for right off the bat and starts really performing, pressure.
But that's ifs. They're all
Oh,
ifs.
right.
Yeah.
But what if it doesn't?
And I guess we just keep moving on.
They're all ifs. And if Corey Day could and wanted to, and that was the guy, then that would have been the guy. But clearly they didn't. They can solve this with multiple guys. They needed to. So that's the choice they made, and whatever. I just don't foresee that being a change unless Anthony makes the change.
Yeah, I don't.
Someone's got to drive the car.
Someone, yeah,
No,
someone's
I'm
gotta
not
drive it.
saying he's making the change, but if he's, I know like DirtTracker.com, they kind of treat this could be his like audition for a national ride next year. I don't
His
know.
audition's been in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's been
I tend to
auditioning.
agree. I
He
tend to
jumped
agree,
into what was it, the 11 last year?
Right.
And I think he won like basically right off the bat. So
Bedford, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah, I think so.
Bedford All-Star
And
race?
he ran well in that car. He won and ran well in that car. Just jumped right in. And I think I don't know if some of the crew overlaps between that and the 7BC or it did at one point in time. Either way, but I'm probably wrong.
Silly season for crew guys is about as bad as drivers right now. So I don't know who goes where.
But I think Macri has proven that he can perform in a good car, any car, at a high level. It took them a couple races to get it together in this, in the 7BC, but he ran pretty well at Knoxville, and that's what he's going to run. He's going to run the Knoxville Nationals in that car, and we'll see.
That's all we'll do. We will all be here to tune in to see.
All
right. Okay.
Let's get a comment here from Amanda. I don't think they will have Macri in the 39M only because last year around Eldora, big races, there were problems. I just know my Brent Marks is racing his 19M till retirement. He said, "Oh well, I'll sit and watch the rest of these teams fold out." Yeah.
Listen, as a Brent Marks fan, it's nice to not have him have any drama while there's all this going on. So it is nice to have a little stability there, even though he's taking a break, which it sounds so strange. Like he's been traveling so much this year and not being as many local shows. I feel like I haven't seen Brent race that much this year, but he's raced a ton of races already, right? So it's just weird, like with the breaks, and we I don't know if we'll get into that tonight with the Jacob Allen and the breaks and the whatever. We didn't even really talk about that. It's local-ish. I don't want to claim him as posse, God forbid.
We get attacked.
We get burned at the stake by anybody who doesn't live in Pennsylvania. That check gets written to Hanover, PA, but here we are. Anyway, but yeah, like it's just been a crazy couple weeks, and the carousel is still moving. So we'll find out the rest soon.
So flip side of the Macri thing, Justin Sanders has performed really well in the 39M. The couple races that they've ran so far, a lot of people are like, hey, the 39M is just falling around Macri. They had these races on their schedule to begin with. I don't know if they had prior commitments. They could have probably pulled out, but they probably said, screw it. Let's get a driver and go out there anyway.
I think it's still kind of fun, even if they're not intentionally doing it. Just the fun of it, the gamesmanship. Even if it's not gamesmanship, it's fun for me. So
and then I think at Knoxville on Saturday night, Sanders passed Macri for the heat win. And all of a sudden, the comments immediately went to, "Oh, Macri must be embarrassed," or, "Look who's better," and this and that. And I don't buy any of that. First of all, especially for a heat win, I'm not buying that. I think, obviously, it's probably in the back of his head, but I think he's pretty focused on trying to get his deal going
I
forward.
think it's to be expected when you have a split like they had. So they're going to be now compared to each other, right or wrong.
Oh, for
Fans are going
sure.
to do that. It's going to be no
Immediately.
different, and we'll get into Logan Wagner and Lance DeWeese. It's going to be the same thing. Anytime they show up at the same place, it's going to be, oh, they made the wrong decision. Maybe that wasn't the decision to be made, right or wrong. Like sometimes you have a spot like the Macris had, you have to do something different, and it wasn't. Oh, they picked Sanders over Macri. Macri, quote unquote, left. You got to do something. That's best for you, and I think the same way with 69K and whatever happened there. They got to put their next best guy in the car.
Let's go into the 69K. It was a little bit of a shock at the timing, like we said, of them splitting up because of what happened the night before at Williams Grove. So there was a little incident.
Our
I
good
don't
buddy.
know what. You, Chris, you explain it because
I was there, but I didn't see it. Anything. I guess the incident was between our good buddy Billy Dietrich's crew making shirts, over selling shirts in Lance's spot or Kreitz's spot, if you want to call it that. Don't know how much that had to do with this. I think the timing is more interesting, but not to do with this. They had a whole back and forth because of social media. I actually didn't even see the social media stuff till later because you didn't have any service at the Summer Nationals. At least I didn't, not till much later.
Yeah, so there was a little bit, the timing of a big blow up between the whole merch thing and a lot of social media comments from Kreitz, and then the next morning, all of a sudden, Lance is let go.
Right, or relieved of his duties. I guess they were in the B main that Saturday night too. That probably didn't help things.
Yeah, they haven't been performing at the level that they want to perform at. And I know in some articles that Kreitz was kind of blaming the new tire, for them not being able to perform to what they expect. But I don't know. They won the Weikert on the new tire. Maybe it just got stale, and I kind of seen that. I thought maybe at the end of the year they would go their separate ways. Lance is with Cole, and then you got Cassidy coming, and which is what we thought when Lance went to the 69K. It was like a retirement, like semi-retirement, part-time. We're going to run big races in PA, and then they went, above and beyond that a little bit because they performed so well, and maybe they were realizing now that maybe they, that's what they wanted, but they can't. Can you put it back in the jar? I don't know, but either way, Lance is out of that ride. What about your anything? What about you? What do you think, Jay-Z?
I think it was all sort of it's easy to game film it and look back and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. The writing was on the wall. Nobody had writing on the wall that this was going to happen. And we just said that it was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look back and go, okay, performance, I think Wing Nation said average finish this year is 12. Last year at this time it was 6.
Something like that, I heard, yeah.
I don't know much, but that sounds like double. The number, I think 6. Yeah. And then you have the t-shirt issue. So was there a disagreement between ownership and driver amongst the t-shirt problem, which sounds like childish bullshit, but it can be real. There's feelings. When you add in combination, maybe some frustration on both ends, and then this incident happens, it's easy to go, okay, cool. We're going to go ahead and go our separate ways here.
And that's something that we talked about last night. The t-shirt thing may or may not have any definitive role in it.
We don't know.
If they're winning a bunch of races this year, I doubt it matters.
Right.
Well,
this could have been the last thing.
As fans, we still don't know if it matters.
Right. We
Nobody
still don't
really
know.
knows. There's only a couple people that know what happened and really happened. We're just on the outside looking in going, well, this makes some sense as to this and this. And okay, cool. Not cool, but whatever.
Yeah, there's only 2 people know. Don Kreitz and Lance DeWeese.
Yeah.
Well, and Billy Rocky says it's hard to buy they're taking a break because of the tire when they I don't know if they said they're taking a break because of the tire. They're saying they're attributing some of their struggles to the tire. The break was last weekend. They said we're going to take a break because we had 75 calls to take. Okay, 75. Okay, let's maybe like 35.
Our boys at Campton.
But whatever. They get to own the number. They get to set the what it looks like here, but they didn't say they were going to take a break to hire a driver. They took a weekend to hire the driver. The split, and one of the things they attributed split to was struggling to get adapted to this new tire, the team and driver combination. So listen, the magic may have been over. They had a fantastic run. I think everyone just got accustomed around here to saying that's going to last until forever, right? There, so like the team will all perish at one time at the racetrack and it'll just disappear. Listen, I think it doesn't work that way. Like we all wish.
I
I
think
think
we
we all
thought
wish it would have.
I think in our own Posse Land head, it was win the National Open, pull the
And
Fred
straight off
Raymer.
into
They
the
all
mess.
just like they could have done last year. Like, hey, we won the National Open, and we're never driving a car again. You never see 69K, no more Lance. It's all gone. No one's
The
mad.
Fred Raymer way, win the
Right.
Natty Open and
And
disappear.
just go away.
So it is what it is. They take a week off and they hire Logan Wagner to drive the rest of the season for the
For
big
Port
port
Royal.
races. Port Royal and just the big races. I don't know if it's weekly.
I
I'm
mean,
sure they're going to get a tune-up in.
They're probably
I'm
gonna.
sure he's going to get behind the wheel. Who knows
mean-
what that turns into?
I mean,
But kind of behind the scenes the last 2 weeks, week and a half, the three of us all kind of were like, Logan Wagner makes a lot of sense here
Mhm.
as fans. And I don't think we were on to anything. This seemed like a very easy
this is low hanging
thing
fruit.
to just go with. And then that's what worked out. So looking forward to see what can be done there.
Comment from Curtis here. Thought on Lance wants to run more races and travel some. Will he find a ride to make that happen? Maybe. I mean, I think they have a good thing going. I know it's only like a couple races, but I think if the 39M is supplying a car for him, I would stick with that as long as he could.
It is probably the best car here. It's not
it's
got a
best
19
ride he
on
could
it
probably
or
get in at this point.
a 48 or 39 or an 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know if he's like sandbagging in the heats to get hard charges every night, but as long as they can figure out the rest of the night together, he's going to contend for some wins in that car because race time comes, they got it figured out, but it seems like it can't go in the heats for some reason. So,
Right.
he's only been in a few races. He should find another ride. It's not working out. I mean, that's what we're telling Macri, right?
And it was at places that he's not even the most comfortable
Macri has outperformed Lance. Macri's outperformed in the 7BC than Lance has in the 39, and we're telling Macri to go find another way. Come on, stop it. Grow up, Peter Pan. This isn't Fantasyland.
Comment from Luke Ritz. Can we all just delete social media?
That wouldn't
It
do us
did.
any
It got
favors,
ugly
buddy.
over social media. I think it made this whole breakup kind of worse. Because it was so public, and there's so I know Lance was pissed because Cole and stuff got drug into it, and it just got personal when it didn't need to be.
And the Dietrich fans, they're proud of their guy. They jumped in on the Kreitz comment, and rightfully so. I mean, it was kind of mean, but hey, put your name on the suite or be in the Hall of Fame. Like, well, that's
and I think Luke
that's
might
not
be
cool.
alluding. He might be alluding to the rest of the weekend on social media as well. Not just this instance, but yeah, Luke, I contemplated it after Saturday night for sure, buddy. Just getting all social media and
now you guys know how I feel every Friday.
And hiding.
But,
here we are.
And then we got
Rocky, who will be their National Open driver. We've talked about this too.
Yeah,
I'm on the Darren Pittman train.
I think Darren Pittman makes the most sense.
When he retired the first time,
the Darren Pittman train on this thing, unless
it's a local guy.
No, it's a local car.
I'm saying I'm with Darren Pittman unless it's a local guy. Otherwise, I'm going to riot.
Oh, who will be their driver for the National Open? Yeah, Darren Pittman. That's my where I'm voting, and then I'm voting Lance Deweese into 51.
I do.
Raymer 51 for the National Open.
Can you imagine that?
Just to watch people's heads flat out explode.
So, Jeremy, we talked about that at Lincoln. That'd be fun. And if he won with it too, my God.
Oh my God.
And I talked about it in a call yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, why would he do that?" I'm like, he could beat Freddie. I'm like, I don't think Freddie's gonna be upset if he loses to Lance Deweese. And Stevie Smith did the same thing. It's like, come on, guy.
It's gonna be like a South Park episode of like exploding bodies in the stands when Lance wins the National Open in the 51. Like, I don't know what people are gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do with themselves. How could they possibly make this work in their brains? But
that would be the weekend that we get so many sweet Jay-Z photos of the 51 car just doing whatever he wants it to do.
I may not take a photo of another car if this happens.
Every angle, glistening. Look at that thing.
The other driver that I've been bringing up, and because I see the way I see it going down is if Tyler Courtney returns, Macri probably goes to the Bernie 71, Indy Race Part 71, which maybe leaves Shane Stewart open. And Shane Stewart, I mean, he holds the track record still, right? He almost won a couple years ago.
No,
Or no, TJ
is the
Stutz
track.
broke it. But he
Just
was
for a
the
second.
previous owner of the track record. And then he during the National Open, he did he win the first night or he broke like leading? He's good there. He's won at Williams Grove before. He's good. I think he's at maybe a little bit of a better spot than Pittman is. You know, maybe a little more competitive, just slightly. But I'd be happy with
Not a
either
Williams
one.
Grove.
Stop.
I think you have this backwards. I think you have the two guys confused.
I'm telling you, I've seen Shane Stewart win there before, and
I understand that.
He had the track record before TJ Stutz in the Indy
Right,
71
that's
during
great.
the National Open.
But what's your point? TJ Stutz is
That
the track
he's
record
good
holder.
there.
Put him
That
in the
is-
fucking car then.
My point is
TJ
that Shane
Stutz has
Stewart's
won a
good
Williams
there,
Grove
and
before.
he would be another option other than Darren Pittman because Darren Pittman, who's he
The
running
Riot.
with?
I don't know.
Nobody. He
No,
runs
Hopefully
he's
not.
79
running with
sometime.
somebody for the Knoxville. I can't remember who. We'll figure it out
I
later.
don't know.
Either way, I think
Yeah.
Pittman. Stewart's not a bad take. I just think it's the wrong one. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, otherwise though, to your point though, why not if you're
55 ABR car. Thank you, Aunt Bay. That's
if
what
you're
Pittman's
not
in.
if you're not getting Pittman or Shane Stewart and Tyler Courtney is back, why not put Macri in the car if you can?
Steve Wilburn to 69K.
That would be a wild time.
That would be insane.
Steve
I'll be
Wilbur
sharp.
is
Did Brett Perrio take over your account?
Steve Wilbur would be quite the character. I would be here for it. Steve Wilbur is one of the more entertaining guys that I know from the sportsman pits, at least.
Randy Kopp. So we have two conflicting. Pittman was running the 55 ABR car, but Dave did say that the Forbrook car, which I believe is correct, that's what Pittman's going to be running. So obviously he's bouncing around. He'd probably be available for the National Open. And Randy here says, I think it would be pretty cool if Tanner Thorson ran out on a regular basis. He has the Black Bandit connection. It'd be cool.
There is that 58 car still just somewhere in the state.
I heard they sold all of it.
Probably.
They were going to sell it all after Speed Week. They were done.
Okay.
But maybe he's an option, you know. But obviously they have a high prerequisite, you know, for what they want in that 69K car.
Yeah.
Logan
That was kinda
matches
fun.
it at Port Royal. They need somebody for National
That was
Open.
kind
at
of a
Williams
great
Grove.
list. Just list off everything you want in the driver, but like Lance, you just fired him.
Yeah,
Guys.
you fired off the guy that filled all those.
You want a
but I get
winner,
it.
veteran, ready to go now? Like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, well,
this isn't a football podcast, but it reminds me of the AJ Brown to the Eagles thing when the Titans then had the worst receiving core in the NFL, and everybody made the joke they should trade for AJ Brown. That's what the 69K just did. They want to hire someone like Lance DeWeese. Got it.
makes sense. I mean,
So
I would too.
Those cars are going to be really interesting to watch here going forward. You know, they're two big posse staples. Like now, without those two cars, you know, we knew kind of 39M was kind of traveling, but we still had 69K that was a hitter for these big
What are you
shows.
joking? Half the country thinks the 19 of Marks and the 39M of Macri aren't even posse anymore because they race somewhere else sometimes.
Right. But that's what I'm
Idiots.
saying, though, even though regardless, you know, it takes a
Doug
big
Ash
hit
on the
on who our big hitters are. So we need some of these other guys that are on that fringe to really step up here.
To Amanda's comment, when is the last time Doug Ash raced? I honestly don't know. That'd be a wild thing. Put him in a 69K.
A couple years.
I like the chaos.
Couple years. It's been
It's been a while.
7.
Yeah, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Let's put Big Fred in the car. Let's just go get him.
go.
Tyler
all
Walker
the
was a better
chaos.
option.
Tyler Walker's
Don't tease me with the Tyler Walker.
due for his like cicada level coming out of the woodworks thing. What a guy.
So I think that's what other.
That's a 69K
That's pretty much
one.
it.
That
I mean, the
covers that.
49X. It sucks for Kale Thomas. Kale was running really good in that car, got let go. Not really sure why.
Because it suits the 40 what the 49 does.
Yeah,
Kind of
and
like how Tim Schafer today
Tim
is now
Schafer
a free agent.
getting. Yep, Tim Schafer, his yearly change and ride thing. Get out of the 45, but they've been running well. I don't understand. There must be something else there.
Because it's the Tim Schafer thing to do.
Yeah, and
But
then we got
also, I
the
saw a
Zemco car
comment
said that they're not hanging it up.
looking for a
Which
driver. Ant
all
Bay,
all the hints pointed towards that they were ramping up to shutting down because Logan couldn't even run it every week at Port Royal anymore. So now all of a sudden, we're not hanging it up. We want a driver.
We
So-
don't want
They-
to, but we want to.
Ant Bay took my pick on who I think goes in that car with Tim Schafer, but
I could see Tim Schafer going back to the 49X for like the umpteenth time.
there's also that.
I think Mike Walter to the
I would-
1Z.
Would love it. Mike Walter's a good dude.
Finish out the year in the 1Z, and then they go to someone else. He's out of motors. He had to borrow one for Saturday.
It's true.
I don't know if they can put it together or how that would work, but man, that'd be cool to get.
And he's
see
been
him
really running really well at Port
I know.
all
He's what?
year. He's been getting
He-
better every week. He's really
What's-
close.
He's in the top 5 in points, I believe. Last I looked.
That's a good one. I like that one.
And they had a week off. He was going to borrow a motor run Saturday. They have a week off. Who knows? Now, I don't know if they can commit to their season if he wants to run for points. So there is that caveat to it. So who knows how it works out? But man, my perfect scenario to see him run the car the rest of the year would be cool. Like, I don't know.
I mean, really, at this point, it's everyone's looking at the Tusky, right? By the time we have fair weeks in a month starting, so put someone in it, do a little test run, and then you're in for Tusky week. You're probably running Labor Day Classic. You'd go over there. So I mean, you want someone that's Port Royal competent, right? That's a wild one. Lance Weiss.
Lance in the 1Z.
Could you? It's like the same. It's like the Spider-Man meme of them pointing
Yeah,
at each
just
other.
everybody just trading rides.
I mean, that's what Fred and Lance did for a while. At least that one time.
Yeah, like I
A couple
guess.
times, I guess. This is kind of the PA thing to do.
What
I
we
want to see Fred Raymer do what he did back in the day, and when he hired Stevie Smith, is to have Freddie and Stevie teammates. Now you're gonna have Freddie and Lance's teammates. Just do it. Finish the year out with Port. They go to Port. Freddie go to Lincoln. Both at Williams Grove on Friday nights. The 8 and the 51.
The
Let's get
T-shirt,
after it.
the T-shirt sales would be.
Yes. Just that alone.
it would go nuts.
You can't even hate Freddie anymore because he is like Lance. Everyone loves Lance except for the
Yeah,
weird
okay.
ones. Except for
Yeah,
the one weird 1Z fans that hate Lance for whatever reason.
So strange. So strange.
It's so weird.
Anyway.
All the Logan Wagner fans hate Lance. It's like, well, weird.
Port Royal rivalry. That's about it. Who wins more?
It's like kind of everyone hating Chad Layton because he took over Keith Kaufman's car. Like, well, it's not Chad's fault.
You got to take whatever rides you can get. You know what I mean? When you're a driver. It's funny. My girlfriend was hanging up some of my laundry before, and she's like, "It's all Lance Deweese and Anthony Macri shirts." Well, I have one Anthony Macri shirt, and then a bunch of Lance Deweese shirts. And it's like I have to get a whole new wardrobe. Sucks.
So cool. Good to know Brett Perigo's gonna have a ride by the end of the week, and so is Kyle Larson. What an idiot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, who else we want to have out of rides? Sorry, Larson.
Whatever.
I mean,
Dickhead.
Perigo would upset me. Larson,
I would.
Well, let's get into.
Why Jeremy's upset with Kyle Larson?
Yeah,
It's not timing.
basically. Let's talk about the much anticipated return of the World of Outlaws to BAPS.
Let's talk about night one.
Night
Second.
one
Was a
Rain
repeat
out.
of my life with Jimmy at Port Royal, where we just got monsooned
monsoon coming down during qualifying,
right after during the
right
intermission.
after.
they
Jeremy
ready to
helped.
push Heat 1.
Jeremy's quote to me was, "I'm getting my water and I'm getting the F out." And I'm like, "Where you going?" He goes, "I don't care. I'm out of here." And I'm like, he left me to die, guys. He left me to die at Babs. Me,
Listen,
Billy Hobart was there. Ken Baum, we died. Jeremy was halfway home. We're swimming out of Babs.
oh, I was gone. I was out. I said, you know what? I got what I got tonight. If they get this show in, I'm thrilled. I'm happy for them.
And I
I
watched
don't think it's going to happen. And I was gone before the first fan got to their car. I was out the road and gone. No traffic. I was home before they even said they canceled. sitting on the couch waiting for that word to come in. I felt like the smartest man alive at that point.
You
And then
were.
it did cancel, and it came back the whole next day.
You were
So
smart enough that I made it from you from outside back to the spot. Girlfriend went up, and I'm like, I'm not going back to the grandstands. I'm like, because I just felt raindrops. I'm like, just get our stuff and come back down here. And we didn't even get her back down, and it just, it was bad.
It came out of nowhere too.
No,
Before the rain,
yeah,
before anything, there was some controversy regarding Kyle Larson.
Oh,
A little, and I have the tweet here. The original tweet was deleted from BAPS. BAPS was like, "Hey, Kyle Larson's going to be here. Make sure you catch him tonight." Or I think it was maybe like the day before.
yeah. This was Tuesday going into Grandview, I believe.
And Kyle Larson comes back with, "I am. All I know is
Or
that I'll be at
Lernerville.
Lernerville tonight and Grandview next Tuesday for High Limit." Shrug. And I know you guys have a lot of opinions on it, so I'll let you guys fire off.
I'm Jeremy's firing off. He has all my opinions.
I don't know if I should say this because I shouldn't talk about this on social media. Um,
You have to
yeah,
pay him.
right. I say what I want to say when I have thoughts on it. I don't care the repercussions of it. I'm not at risk of not getting hired by Kyle Larson for anything. So fuck that. Number one. Secondly, here's my problem with this. So the point. Here's what happened. There is a Larson fan page, okay, that has become fairly well known,
He was
and
in his
they
pit
tweeted out
box.
and put out a graphic of Larson's schedule, upcoming schedule, and they do whether it's midget racing, dirt racing, asphalt, whatever. And it had BAPS Motor Speedway on it with an asterisk beside it that said tentative or unconfirmed, I believe was the word. And BAPS used that to announce that Kyle Larson will be attending the race at BAPS. And that's where you saw the tweet from Kyle Larson saying, "Oh, I am question mark. Oh, I only have this and this on my schedule." When he damn well knew he was coming to BAPS. His crew people and media people had credentials signed in on the BAPS list to support him. So BAPS knew they were coming to this race. This part is the rumored part. I'm not a part of the team. I'm not a part of anything. But the rumor is that whether it's a Kyle Larson versus the World of Outlaws thing, or Kyle Larson using it as a money grab to use his name as promotion, he will not put his name on something either whether it's Outlaws or for free, or allow a track to use it for free. One or the other. And either way, they're wrong. Both of them are fundamentally wrong. Whatever dick measuring contest he's in with the World of Outlaws doesn't need to put tracks in the middle of it. BAPS doesn't deserve that. Go tell the Larson fan page that your name's on the damn fan page. Go tell them to take the tweet down and take it off the schedule.
Yep.
I don't blame BAPS for this. BAPS was excited to have a race at their track for the first time in how many years? 31? 30
For the
something years?
Outlaws.
Can you blame them for being excited? I don't care what your beef is with the World of Outlaws. Leave it alone. Don't put a track in the middle of it. The last thing we need is tracks getting a bad look and tracks becoming at risk because they are excited about a race happening.
Right, and that's
The
what
last
happened
thing we
here.
need is the track having bad publicity when they didn't mean any negative bias or harm or anything by it. Don't put the track in the middle of it. You take your fucking pissing contest with the Outlaws and go fucking fight them somewhere else. Don't put a racetrack in the middle of it. The second part of it is if there's a truth to he's not tracks or entities or whoever, he's not allowed to use his name as promotion, he's coming without getting paid. If that's actually true at all, is absolute bullshit because you can't say you're here for the dirt community and creating whole series for the dirt community to give back and then you do it as a money grab. Your money grab is going to win in the races, my guy. That's the purse.
Yeah.
You're a professional race car driver. Go race for the purse. If there's any truth to that he's not going to allow you to use his name to gain fans to your facility or series without paying him to do it, bruh, no. Beat it. I don't even want you. And listen, there's a lot of places around the country that would need that promotion to have fans show up. Guess what, my guy? PA ain't one of them. You may
BAPS
love
wasn't
coming
one of
here
them.
and loving the fans, but we don't need you, my guy. Beat it. We didn't need you at that outlaw show. And guess what? It rained out. You didn't fucking come back, and it was still packed. And we had a
Mhm.
great race without you, my guy. So I guess you won't hire me for your social media or pictures. Boo hoo! I don't give a shit. Beat it. That's my thought.
I think, one, it wasn't confirmed by him, so he's just kind of like saying, "Hey, hold up." He didn't go the next night because he was down in Philly doing whatever he's doing with
Point was, if it doesn't rain, you already said the rain came out of nowhere. He was planning on racing that Wednesday night.
Sure.
He knew it on
Hey,
Tuesday.
He
I
knew it
think
when
it's
he
more with
tweeted
the
it.
Outlaws, and he put the track in the middle, and I don't agree
like
with
how
that.
he handled it because he publicly put him out there. They got blasted for it. They got all the stuff, all the shit for it. No one even questioned, maybe he's the dick that put him in the spot until we did right now.
That's correct. Even if he handled it wrong, even if he's in the right by, even if BAPS did something wrong by posting this because the asterisks on it and tentative, okay, you can put a little bit on BAPS for that, and they owned it. They put out, said, "Hey, we apologize. We didn't mean to whatever." Which right thing to do. They handled it correctly. They deleted the tweet and they apologized and said we used information from an unconfirmed fan page. Which whatever, you can take that angle if you want. But Larson handled it wrong by going at the track and saying, "I am," and then all along was going to anyway. You look like a fucking clown, my guy. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks he looks like a clown for doing it. You
No, you're
tweet
one of
you
two.
tweet it knowing all along you actually are showing up the next day.
I don't know. I get both sides. I really don't have a problem with the way he handled it, but I don't have I don't
You can
think
also
the
be
track
wrong.
deserved to be caught in the middle, of his dick swinging contest with the World of Outlaws. I think that's what it all comes down to, was he didn't want to promote the World of Outlaw race when he's trying to promote a high limit race.
But
Why
to
does he show
Jeremy's
up
point,
to race?
Within a week.
And why
to
is he coming to race?
yeah,
He can go anywhere else in the country and race at that point. He's got a plane that goes fast enough. He's got a fucking plane that goes fast enough to fly him anywhere his damn well heart pleases. He's going to come race the outlaw race.
Can you put a
But
race
then
car on that plane?
I don't give a shit. They have a truck. They can haul it anywhere they want. Be there ahead of him. He doesn't travel with the truck. The truck goes
Why would he
where
travel anywhere else when they're all in PA?
because if he's against the Outlaws, why would you race with the Outlaws when the Outlaws are going to use your name to promote
Listen,
you?
come on,
I
When
think
you're
it's
there
more
anyway?
just a promotion thing. I don't think it's like, hey, I'm not going to run with. Obviously, he runs with the Outlaws. I just don't think he wants to.
Then back to Jay-Z's original point.
If
he
if
doing
one
high
track
limit
starts to
competitive dirt racing?
use promotion unconfirmed, he's racing here and not going through the right channels, maybe of promoting him, then it just snowballs, and then every track starts doing
But
it.
there's a way to
And he
handle
probably
it.
wants to put his foot down, and I don't
He
blame
has
him on
people
that.
that could call the track and be like, "Hey, take this down."
So he's too good for the dirt community to help grow it by using his name to support their race.
I don't
He's
think
too big
so.
for it.
Sounds like he
It
won a
still
cup
popped
championship.
promotion, didn't it? He still was there.
We didn't need it because our
He
point
was
was
coming all along. They didn't need the promotion. They posted it because
they
that's
were
exciting.
doing
Sure.
what they do for every one of their drivers for even their regular shows that aren't outlaw shows. They highlight their drivers in their thing. That's what they do.
Every time they have a race, they promote who's coming to their race.
Even the freaking Saturday Night Series has promotion like that.
Right. So, I mean, I'm just saying, we've never seen him do that before with any other track. So, there must have been a reason. Who knows what it was? Wasn't cool. I don't think it
Dickhead.
was handled
That's what
right
it was.
either. But I don't think it comes from an ill intent towards the track. I think it had more to do with the Outlaws. That's personally me.
Outlaws
No,
do not
I
care, and
agree with
Outlaws
you.
didn't pay for it.
I don't think his intention was to attack BAPS and make it look bad on BAPS, but it did.
Yeah,
They're the ones who got the hate for it. They
Yep.
don't need the hate at this point. No track needs it. I don't care what you feel about a track. If that was Williams Grove, and I don't care how I feel about Williams Grove, they don't need the bad publicity about his dick measuring contest with the Outlaws. Like,
Right.
keep the tracks out of it. The track didn't need that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Especially one is trying their damnedest to put on a really good show for the
and to
first
do it
time in
right.
30 years to try to get them to come back.
The amount of work and prep they put into it to have something like that bullshit tarnish it in any way.
I don't
is
think
wrong.
it tarnished it at all.
No, because the
may
show
not have,
still
but
went.
it made news, man. It went crazy how bad BAPS did this and how bad BAPS was.
Yeah,
that
outside
night.
of our circle that protected BAPS, like the posse people kind of protected, but like if you don't know anything about BAPS and you're like, oh, there's that shithole in PA that just made some shit up about Larson to sell some tickets, they had plenty of people there. There was hard even to find a seat
It was
before
awesome.
the rain.
So can we get into that part of it?
Yeah.
Because it was fucking fantastic, is what it was. The crowd was great. I really wish Wednesday would have went down really because it was definitely everybody was there Wednesday. Thursday was a great crowd. I don't know if everybody came
It
back.
was
I bet it was
probably like
90% of the people,
80 to 90%,
80
right?
to 90%.
You could at least breathe.
Right. So it wasn't all of them. That's fine. But man, was it awesome. It ended up being a fantastic race. Um, David Gravel and Brad Sweet through lap traffic, people running the fence, people running the bottom. It was dusty down straightaways. It was good in the corners. Didn't know how it was going to end up. The whole team did a fantastic job with the show, the event, the coordination of it, the parking, the everything. I only saw one or two complaints about anything about their facility, and people weren't allowed to play cornhole in the parking lot, so more people could park. Oh, boo-hoo! Take your fucking cornhole game and go to your backyard. Like I saw that somewhere on Facebook.
Yeah.
This is
I didn't
why
see that.
you have other like some of these
Just
tracks have
don't play cornhole in a parking spot, maybe.
or 9 parking spots and rope it off for your two
Yeah.
two fucking lawn chairs and take up 13 spots like all these other tracks allow
Yeah,
people to do. But
like
they have plenty of parking at these other tracks. BAPS doesn't have necessarily all
yeah,
the parking.
day two they definitely. It's like Wednesday we got there kind of late, and we just parked in the middle of the construction site. Hope we were allowed to. Thanks to those guys for not towing our car. But the second day we got there, there was actual flaggers in the thing directing traffic to park. They may have been there the first day. I didn't see them. But that was definitely helpful the second day because they had everyone nice and organized, not parking like cocks or wherever they wanted.
Right.
They had every ticket. There was no line for a ticket, and we were there right after the gates opened the second day,
Yeah, I
and,
think
and,
they
and
had
they
they
had
had
like
2 gates
6.
open.
They had everything open. You just went right through, smooth. The midway was opened, so the layout had good flow through it. I mean, they did better than tracks that have more resources to handle those kind of events. So
Well, they're definitely worthy for getting another date, bigger shows. Um, they did a pretty
everyone's
good
gonna.
job. I was not there. I was watching it. I think I honestly barely remember it.
You were
It
watching it
was.
in your
I remember it being
hotel
like an
room.
okay race, but I was very happy to see the turnout, and it wasn't a bad race at all. So it was.
Can
It
you
was. It was
imagine
decent.
if like BAPS gets 2 dates next year and then the whole America burns because PA has like 12 outlaw races?
If we can, I'm not even gonna get into that because, never mind.
Yeah, do it. We're here for the long haul.
Now let's get to some chat comments here. Cody, what's going on? Cody Hartlob checking in. Paula said, "I wish he would just go away," meaning Kyle Larson.
Yeah, Tony Sharp talking about the backstretch. It's cool.
I flagged the backstretch now. They're up against the fence hammering when Danny comes up to me and say, "You may want to stand back further than for the feature." Yeah, I mean they
They
were.
were ripping the fence in 1 and 2. They were like it was very much like making 2 corners out of 1 and 2. They go up in the very apex of middle 1 and 2, bang off the right rear off the wall, get tight and stay up there. I mean, it was fun to watch. It was on the wall in 1 and 2.
That's one thing I wanted to comment on that I do remember what Christopher Noel here said. I was there for my first time and it was awesome. I also like how they had staging for qualifying. Me personally, I didn't like it. I liked how they did it for Speed Week when they brought everybody in the infield and pulled them off that way. I just thought it was kind of awkward how they came all the way, but I understand why they
I
did
think
it too.
it was cool from the fans because like we were in the grandstands and they just drive like right past you. It was kind of like it's like Port Royal does it, same idea. And I don't know if it helped their flow in the back maybe because you couldn't see them. They come over the hill, you
Maybe.
see the sprint car come over the hill, and they were
It was
just going. And
definitely
I think it was cooler.
yeah. So what they did was during Speed Week, the Outlaws had them test out the infield format to get ready for the Outlaw show, and then just kind of got together and coordinated if they liked that or not. And the only thing that in my mind that I saw was if it didn't end up with 2 groups, 38 cars or more, there was going to be a lot of cars staged in the infield, even more than they had for BAT or Speed Week. So I think they liked the idea that they could control the flow better with the runoff, the area out back there through 3 and 4 better with that area than in the infield. In the infield, the way that they would have to probably use 4 wheelers, push them off, turn around, come back. That it's a little narrow there with the way they have that roped off now. So I think it worked. I think it actually worked out fine.
Yeah.
Other than I think someone got pushed into a barrier, maybe Givler. right at the beginning. Somebody didn't fire off, so it was like 2 cars, and then it was 1 car, and then it was 1 car, and then it was 2 cars.
Gibbler didn't fire right away. It was kind of
Yeah, so I think that once they got the flow and the timing of it, because they've never done that before, I think it went well.
Yeah.
But
Lake
yeah,
Either
Two,
way, the cars got pushed out and were able to take time. You
right?
know,
took time.
either way,
and
whatever
it
way you
kept
cut
it
it.
for the most part. He said kept the trucks off the track because they had them fired, and they could just turn around and go while they were going.
Correct.
So you had to do like what we had to do. The Grove, you kind of had to go out, and you had to stop and wait for the trucks to get off. It was kind of clunky.
So, who won? David Gravel?
David Gravel beat
Gravel and
Brad
Sweet battled it out through live traffic. Yep, Gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
No,
fun
it
race.
went caution free.
Caution free.
So
I think it went caution free all night. Or was that Williams Grove Friday?
No, that was Grove Friday night Grove, I believe.
well, I guess let's get into Summer Nationals then, as we're flowing right into that. Good for BAPS. Hope to get more outlaw dates and better shows here throughout. You know, in the years to come, they really put the effort into the track, and they're definitely putting more into their track than some other tracks around here.
That's where it's cool to see that they get rewarded for their hard work. You know, they had their issue earlier this year where the track was rubber down and wasn't such a good time, but the
That
drivers
happens at every track.
well, right. The key it was that day was just a really bad day, but the drivers didn't quit on them. And that we said it then. It was cool to see the drivers still wanted to support them after that, and this is why.
So Summer Nationals. This is all you guys. I didn't watch a lap really. So
Oh, Jimmy was in the Pocono party zone.
I was infield Pocono from Thursday through Monday. I kind of checked in a little bit through, on my phone here and there, but I didn't really. I don't think I watched any of the features.
I had an absolute blast. I mean, I was there with my daughter, so it's just I got to do it from a different perspective, where like the fireworks was a good thing and all that stuff. I had a great time. That first race, Logan Schuchart sailing it around the outside of Sweet to win the feature. That was impressive. Race itself, I mean, you had not a lot of passing. I wouldn't say not in the front, but you had look who you had in the front. You had Gravel, Sweet, Schuchart, everyone that's fast in the country now, all starting in a line. So, I don't know, 2 completely different tracks between the 2 nights.
Yeah, for sure. I think that first night definitely wasn't a lot of passing, but I think what you find is, Williams Grove is tough for passing any week. But then you add in the best cars in the country and you line them up, typically with the best cars at the front of the field.
Yeah, you had
You're
Brad
not
Street on
going
the
to have a
pole.
ton of passing. So you're going to have lap traffic has to matter, dirty air has to matter, mistakes going to have to matter. And all of that played into the hand of how Logan Schuchart stole this freaking race. And if you didn't see this race or hear about this race, or maybe you heard about it after, didn't see the replay, go to World of Outlaws YouTube and find the video of the ending of this race where Johnny Gibson didn't even realize who won this race.
Yeah.
He was caught off guard and went, Logan Schuchart just won, like, had no idea what was happening. He was watching it. There was a great battle behind the leaders and didn't even realize that Logan was close enough to even have a shot at winning this race. He pulls off the win in his home track, not his home track per se, Lincoln might be, but
his first win.
Like you said, Victor Lane, if we'd have told him he'd went on the Outlaw Tour or got into a 410, he hadn't won in a 410 at Williams Grove in 10 plus years, he'd have been sorely disappointed. Well, he's probably been disappointed a lot because it was his first career win, and it was obviously wildly popular for, a non-weekly Williams Grove racer to win, as we would expect, just like it was at Lincoln when Jacob Allen won at Lincoln. It was awesome. It was great to see. They were pumped. They had 39,000 fans in Victory Lane and family and friends. And
party kept going on and on.
It did. I stayed away from the party. I got a few pictures and just let more people in because I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
It was great. It was
we
good
did
all around.
He won that. It was crazy because if you weren't paying attention, it was easy. It was a lot, like you said. Johnny was watching the battle, I think, for 4th or 5th, because Brad was pretty gone. Like, it didn't look like anything was happening.
All night. Mm-hmm.
And he hit the cushion kind of gnarly once. It looked like from my going in 4, and it must have bent the wheel. And I saw him come out of 2 from the infield, and I'm like, oh, Logan is there. And you heard him just kind of like burp the throttle, see where Brad went, and he went the other way and just sailed it. I think that, and the whole place went nuts. I think everyone kind of saw it happening at the same time. But we did track walk probably through the pits and then out around the track, and they were still on the front stretch partying. That was a good
Yeah,
30, 40 minutes later.
I happened to be walking. I had the camera, and I was walking over toward Victory Lane to, I guess, snap pictures of Brad Sweet. And they come down the front stretch, and I saw the dual checker flags waving, and I see two cars flash by, and obviously I knew one was Brad Sweet, but the other one was like a white light color car, and the fans are going crazy. I'm like, dude, Brad Sweet's not that popular in Pennsylvania. I'm like, what is going on? And I looked at the scoreboard, and it said one and first place, and I went, what the hell just happened? I walked away 2 laps ago, and he wasn't even in the he's a half straightaway behind.
And he wasn't catching.
So,
It wasn't like one of those he
and he
wasn't
wasn't
rallying.
running him down. So, and then the first time I saw what happened was on the replay from Dirt Vision. So, it was just cool. It was cool. I hate to see Brad lose a race that way for sure. I mean, I'm not a Brad Sweet fan or an Outlaw fan by any means, but I don't like.
It's a beautiful
I'm not going
league.
to boo the guy. Like I'm not.
He led every lap, right? He led every lap until that one.
Yeah, he
And
led
was
enough.
like not really challenged. He had not easy, but an easy night of it. He had a great car.
No, I think something like that though just shows you when that curb, because that curb was there. I think it was the same way this past Friday. Was kind of there, and it shows even some of the best sprint car drivers in the world catch it wrong. And we saw Billy Dietrich early in the year was leading, hit the curb like that, and kind of wrecked the race car. I think you see when last year Brent Marks, same thing where he hit it, but somehow kept it driving around Carson Macedo. This shows you that it makes it fun when that curb's there. So maybe Danny's right. More curbs at racetracks.
It needs to be. There was a curb this weekend.
That's what I heard.
It was
Especially at
awful.
Williams Grove. I think you need to have it at Williams Grove. It's too wide to get slick all the way up
And
to the
that's-
wall to be good. I mean, in 3 and 4 they could. I love when they get up to the wall in 3 and 4.
That's
I
what
think it's
happened
good.
Saturday.
But
But it
you know,
didn't have
you
that
need
effect.
a curb in 1 and 2 somewhere, at least halfway, 3/4 up the track to, try to create something.
Right.
And
It creates opportunities for mistakes and variability in the racetrack that typically doesn't have much. I'm here for all of it every week. Big ass curbs at the Grove. Bring it back.
Right. It was great because we go from that to Saturday. We did the track walk, and it was the exact opposite. Bumpy, but like smooth all the way to the wall. And they didn't knock a curb down that I saw. It just didn't build the way it did the night before, for whatever reason. And I don't think Torrico wins. Didn't get challenged much at all. Just kind of ran. Gravel crept in there. There was a hell of a battle from like 3rd through 6th, with Marks and Gravel and someone Baston. They were going at it for most of the feature, and of course Rico wins. Climbs the fence on Beer Hill, almost starts a riot.
No, that'll be on a t-shirt.
Worked for Beer Hill.
He is a merchant. Rico is one of the smartest dirt track racers alive. He not only like believes and means what he does when he gets out in Beer Hill and said, I saw Fred Raymer do that, a while back and it was popular. He's a fan favorite around here already. And he also knows how to sell himself and his merch, and he's genuine, he believes it, and he lives it. And if I had to pick, I'll take I'll take Rico Abreu coming around here all the time, anytime he wants over what's his name? Kyle Larson anytime. Bring it. Rico Abreu, Pennsylvania, it's a perfect match, and it always has been. But yeah, that track took rubber in 3 and 4 at the end, and you had to be in it. Based missed it, so you ended up with Abreu, Gravel, and Mark's top 3, and it ended up around the bottom in 3 and 4. Took rubber there. It was definitely a different surface for sure.
Sure, and that happens sometimes. I mean, it was hot. It was a good weekend though. Fireworks were good. They kept the events moving both nights. We were done just before 10. They kept them going. They kept them going. I mean, obviously, no cautions helps that. No red flags help that. But for sure, it was nice, especially seeing the others have it with a young child getting out of there early.
Did the chat on the side go away for you guys?
No.
Yes. It said error reloading. I didn't want to error out, but I can see.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, mine aired out at one point. It's not there for me. I mean, no, the normal chat is, but not the one you had You opened up
on
for
the
a different
screen,
word.
right? Like it's not there
Yeah,
anymore.
I can
Right?
see it. Yeah.
I can see it.
Okay. It's probably because I was Tony. Thank you. He gave me some stuff to put up here when we're talking about previewing here. Shout out. He's always, with PA, Dirt Track and Creative, and all that. Awesome. Doing
Awesome
good
stuff
work
every week.
there.
Follow
Before we
him.
get completely away from the weekend, Jimmy, I want to hear about your Pocono experience because so you were living the Pocono experience, and I'm gonna put this out there, and I've never been to either of these. So when I compare these, I could be way off base. So if anybody in chat has been to either of these experiences, I would like to hear it. Now, everything I saw about Pocono this past weekend, and this has been building to this year. It's been building to this, I think, the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Really, since they kind of went to the either one date or the combined, 2 races, 1 weekend deal. Because Pocono was getting a little like on that topic of like, hey, do we need Pocono anymore? Conversation. It was coming. It was happening. Still one of only two privately owned racetracks in NASCAR, which hopefully forever, but we know that probably won't be happening. But it was absolutely jam-packed, full capacity, infield camping party.
Everything.
Like, to
Listen,
me, the conversation that I heard about it rivaled the conversations I hear at Talladega, okay?
yes.
Oh,
Maybe not the complete party atmosphere yet on
no,
that
it,
level,
buddy,
because
it's there.
Talladega is like creates its own Twitter accounts for the epicness of the shit left behind and the shenanigans. But I saw a Pocono drunk Twitter feed
Yep.
that made it around social media. So
The
I've never been to either of these.
only difference is Pocono doesn't have like a Talladega Boulevard type parade.
They have the block party, but it's not the same.
Right.
Not the
So the
same,
thing with
but
Pocono,
awesome, right?
I've been camping there a lot the past couple years. I went the year that Ryan Blaney won his first race, and we camped next to some people who they go to 2 races every year, Talladega and Pocono, and they said it's because they're very similar. So even back in 2017 or whatever, 2017, 2018, it's been like that, and it's been building and building, and now that they went back to one weekend, it's just listen. I know dirt fans, they don't love NASCAR. I would still suggest going. It's a great time. They have so much stuff going on out at the fanfare. Camping it's always the same weekend too as the Summer Nationals, which is a problem. But even just go Sunday. They have so much going on. I got chills at times because I have not seen that grandstand pack since the '90s like that. I used to go all the time, and uh, I was walking. I was watched the beginning of the race from turn 1 in the infield, and I was walking from our campsite to turn 3, and I couldn't see the big screens at one point. And Joey Logano had wrecked. The crowd went nuts. I heard the cars go past, and then just screams of everybody, like just a lot of cheering and everything. And I have not heard the crowd like that all race long. When the thing between Hamlin and Larson went on, people were going nuts, and it was just a really, really good time all weekend long. They really do a good job. They do a lot for the fans, a lot of stuff to do. Just for the family, we did a track walk on Thursday. They have a lot of good stuff for the family. All these meet and greets with every time I walked to the bathroom, I felt like I saw Matt DiBenedetto. He was doing something in the infield. I saw him like 3 or 4 times every time, and the right next to the one little center that they have where they have activities is the bathrooms, and every time I went to the bathroom I felt like I saw him. So it was a great time. Yeah, that's really it. I'm not gonna go too much further into it,
So
but
what I
I
took
do
from all that
I really suggest it, even if you don't go camping for a weekend, get to the Sunday race because it's a blast.
so the only thing I got from that was Matt DiBenedetto has been cloned, and there's 3 of them.
Pretty much.
He just was doing different events every time, like throughout I think it was like Friday. Here's the thing: I went Thursday. Camping opened up Thursday at noon. We got there at 3 o'clock. There's 3 spots left for me to get in. If not, I was gonna have to go to a whole different section. I've never had it like that. Like I'm gonna have to next year get there early morning Thursday. And Chris, when we went last year, we got there 6, 7 o'clock
Yeah, we rolled
and
in
waited
right
in a
after
line.
dinner.
Now I didn't have to wait in a line this time, but there was also no spots because they got everybody in so quick. So it was packed. It was great. Everything was sold out. Just really great time. They know how to
Good for you,
they know
man.
how to throw an event. NASCAR and Pocono. I'll give them
Yeah.
that. They know how to throw an event.
So yeah, I mean, even as dirt fans, the Summer Nationals weekend is tough. And listen, I'll say this too: the Summer Nationals crowd at Williams Grove was freaking fantastic. That place was packed, like as packed as I seen like Natty Open level packed. Like it was
It
really
was
close.
especially Saturday. Really
Yeah,
got
very
there in a
impressive.
hurry.
Very, very impressive. So it was cool to see all around, to see the state of Pennsylvania um, having such success in motorsports. We have the best fans in the country, period. End of story. You can argue about drivers all you want, but we have the best fans in the country, no
100%
doubt
agree.
about it. So, all
100%
right.
agree.
What about what else? What do we got? What's next?
Let's go from this past weekend then, after Summer Nationals. Well, between there was Grandview High Limit. Um, yeah, cool.
Rico.
Rico with the win. I went on Tuesday. I got 10 minutes from the track and they canceled. Drove in pouring rain the entire time. I know how I knew better than to go, but the slight chance that they were going to get it in, I know how Grandview's crowd is, and trying to get in that place, I'm like, I'm not turning around or I'm not waiting any longer, and if they cancel, they cancel. I still get home in a decent time, and that's what ended up happening. I couldn't
Do
go
you
on
think,
Wednesday. We'll try to go on Wednesday, but the place was jam
speaking
packed.
of right, speaking of jam packed in Grandview and parking and getting in, do you think that there's a way that someone walked a mile to get to the racetrack?
At Grandview,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Because I thought
Because
that
it's
was kind of
not just
bullshit.
how far away you might have to park. I didn't ever have to do that. I only went there once, but I didn't have to do that. But you have to go up a hill, and the way they line up and pack that place, it's just insane.
I've been there one time and I got there early enough. I think it was a Speed Week show. I got there early enough that I walked, but it was down the hill to the track from a field. It wasn't too bad, but I don't know if you saw this. Kyle McFadden
Yeah.
said he had to walk like a mile through buses in some random field, but
You get there late.
but this guy was walking literally by himself with nothing and no one around him. So I'm not sure if he got lost or he was
Maybe he
doing
didn't know where
it
there's
himself.
other parking. There's a lot of people on the road. I feel like there's other parking areas there and fields around there, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I just know the crowd. It's the midway gets crowded,
Yeah.
the bleachers get crowded. I went there for a Speed Week show with Larson when Larson won.
I was
Didn't
at the
get out
same
of there
one.
till one
I was
o'clock in
gonna
the
say I knew you. Look at that.
one 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and because it was a long race, there's a lot of red flags and cautions. But that place was absolutely jam packed, and it was even looked even more for a Wednesday night. Insane. Good. I'm happy for Grandview because that place was like on the verge of closing and selling, and all that. And
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
it's
whoa.
a
What do you
decent
mean
it's a
you're happy?
decent little track.
Hold on. Stop, stop. What do you mean you're happy for them? They wanted to sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the ones that sold it.
Well, they
Well,
didn't sell it.
they wanted
Well,
to
they
sell
got
it.
to
Why
the
would you
point
be
of
happy that
selling
they
it.
got a big crowd?
Uh,
They wanted to sell out. It's not like it was under pressure like
Maybe
Bloom for
somebody
like
will
a town.
buy it from them now.
Yeah, Copart.
Seeing that, look at the type of crowd that you'll get.
Hey,
Maybe
look
keep
what
it
you
a
can do once
racetrack.
a year.
Yeah,
Look
well,
what
yeah.
you can do one time a
Ashley
year.
Capetta did it the Port Royal way.
Uh,
$10 at a house.
That's the best way. Take advantage
Tyler,
of those things.
Tyler said last year's Freedom 76 there were people walking half mile to the track. I believe it because that's modified country too. I mean they're nuts for that. Ashley Capetta, shout out. I parked at a house and paid $10. Best thing I did. I turned a different way to avoid the traffic. So there you go. There's people around there. Look at that. The neighbors of the track making money off of
Oh,
it.
it's Jimmy's turn to fire off.
I'm not
Oh,
firing
not
off on
there
that
yet.
yet. Not there
We're
yet.
leaving. I'm leaving 35 minutes at the end for Jimmy, just to talk about
Bloomsburg.
today's news.
Yeah, I don't even really want to talk about it. I'm pissed off, but
That's
it
why
is
you
what
That's
it
should.
why I want you to talk about it, Jimmy.
We're here to console you, buddy.
Ryan Smith stopping in to say hi, and I'm excited to hit dingers with you boys on Saturday. On Saturday, we're going to
Oh,
be turn two terribles. We have a softball tournament that we're playing in. Wish us luck. It's for a good cause. Baseball for bravery outside of Hazleton. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Jimmy says, "Wish us luck." He means for us not to get hurt, mostly.
Yeah,
So,
It's to make sure that half of us can get the port and the other half get the Lincoln that day.
I'm
no,
keep an eye on
port.
our
All port, baby. All port
keep
royal. Port Royal
Yeah.
committed.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to Port Royal after. Keep an eye on our socials. You'll see the squad, and hopefully we win, or at least I don't want to get swept. I don't want to lose both games. I at least
We'll
want to win one
participate.
game.
I'll take the participation award. I'm fine.
Yeah.
We're there for the photos, boys.
Yeah.
I think I have to leave at like 4 a.m. to get there on time from my house. So
You
there's
have to leave
that.
it. I have to leave
Ryan's
at
got his
6.
doctor on speed dial.
Yeah, it's a Saturday, man. Hopefully, it's a good doctor. We're there for you.
Yeah, we have to get there at the ass crack of dawn. So that's the only bad part. We have to get there at like 7:40.
But it was 20 minutes away, not 2 hours. Where?
Yeah.
I don't even know what town it's in yet. I still haven't
Drums.
Googled
Drums.
that.
It's in Drums, right outside of Hazleton.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know where either of those
Exactly. Right.
Anyway.
It's a great time.
Let's get back to all right. Grandview was cool. Rico won. Blah blah blah. Grove on Friday night. Big wreck. Justin Whittle goes out of the park after getting tangled up with TJ Stutz, which I don't know what happened there.
I do.
Justin's okay. He had to go to the hospital for evaluation, so was released early in the morning. Very sore. Took the rest of the weekend off. Hopefully, he's back this weekend. Went out of the park. How many times have we seen somebody go out of the park at Williams Grove in turn 1 and 2? And, you know, there's always, we talked about this already. I think we talked about it with, was it Hernandez or whatever from USAC that went out of the park, and that shit was bent up.
Well, yeah, between Bernheisel, Anton, and now Whittle.
Yep.
3 times in
less than a year.
Call it a year and a half, 2 years?
About a year, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a sharp drop off there, even at turn 1. And that's awfully close. I mean, I know there's a catch fence above the tunnel, but that's still awfully close for debris, or God forbid something else happened, or if there's a track worker walking that way. I mean, it's just a lot of people, and you know, this was something that was said in a tweet by AJ Flick, and I get it. I also agree. I can't see it. There we go. Unpopular opinion, but I think Whittle's crash would have been worse with the catch fence. At his speed, I think it was best to clear the track and slowly dissipate energy, much less an abrupt force on his body and keeps him out of oncoming cars. Just my opinion. Glad you're okay, Justin. I agree with that sentiment, but not what you can't. You're dissipating a lot of energy after a 15-foot drop, and if it was like 3 and 4 where you could gradually go up, you know, all on kind of like a level ground, I think that's great. But not how much of a drop that is, and you're going on the like just hard road basically. Like I don't know what can be done at this point.
I don't know what can be done, but something has to be
Yes.
done. Okay, I'm not an architect. I'm not a landscaper. I don't know fucking trees and hills and backhoes and dirt. Something has to be done. I understand the idea of a catch fence and the speed and climbing the fucking fence and landing back down on the ground. I don't disagree with that necessarily, but that's where you see every other track for the most part around the country. Speed negated. Fast tracks, slow tracks, you see catch fences. We can speculate all we want about what it could have been if there's a catch fence there or not. But I do know he wouldn't have maybe hit a fucking tree with a sprint car head on in the air.
Yep.
Like I know that wouldn't happen if something has to be done at turn 1 and 2 at Williams Grove. I don't care what I don't know or don't know about the past and all the dumb shit, but you got to look at it and go, okay, I didn't know the history of potential lawsuits in the past and other things in the past. I'm a fan and I don't give a shit about that as a fan. And I'm looking at it going, this is stupid.
Yes.
Just absolutely dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Common sense has just blown my mind. And I will say this, I think it was Andrew Bowman works with the Sweet Crew. He made a comment, maybe a comment on a face. I don't remember. Social media is going to social media, but I saw him make a comment on one of them saying that the sanctioning bodies make the cars. They have to have this and have to have that. They have to have fire suppression bottles that can fly off the car before the fire starts, but they have to have them.
Mm-hmm.
But tracks have zero regulations on what they should and shouldn't be doing. None. But the cars have to get safer and safer and
Yep.
safer. Well, why is that
The track's got to stay step for step. And this is what frustrates me with Williams Grove. I love going there. I have a great time, great atmosphere. The racing's not bad, not as bad as people make it out to be. But they got to it's just the complacency. Just it angers me to the point where I don't even want to go there. They could just add, if they would have had a guardrail another level up, maybe 2 levels up. Justin's not going out of the park. You know what I mean? And that's might be all it takes. You don't even need to do a fence. Just make a higher fence, and
You mean like Port Royal 1 and 2?
yeah, something like that. You don't.
I heard that they go fairly fast there and like wreck
Yeah,
sometimes.
and unless
What
they're
am I
going to
missing?
fill in outside of turn 1 and let it be like a gradual drop off, which I'd be fine with, because like Sealands Grove is kind of like that. They don't have a catch fence in 1, but it's level and you can go. It's not ideal, but it's still better than going 130 miles an hour into a catch fence directly.
Side note, did you see that the Outlaws placed a NOS bottle out in 3 and 4 for Brent to knock down versus the Hoosier side?
Really?
Ryan Smith told me that, yeah. I told Brent that, and he smiled at it. He laughed a little. So Ryan Smith, if you're hearing or listening to this, not that Ryan Smith, or the real Ryan Smith, not the one you think that drives a car, but our buddy,
Yeah.
the real Ryan Smith,
Yes.
OG Ryan Smith.
Our real Ryan
He
Smith.
pointed that out that their Outlaws put the NOS bottle out there for Brent to hit. So instead of the Hoosier sign.
Before I let Chris fire off here,
I'm not firing off.
it's just something's got to be done. The World of Outlaws praise safety. Give Williams Grove 7 dates a year, and this is what I'm saying. Like BAPS puts in the work, Port Royal puts in the work, Lincoln puts in the work. Those are some of the safest tracks probably in the country, to be honest. I mean, look at all the stuff that they've done. And they're lucky to get 1 or 2 scrap dates. Like at some point, start taking them away from Williams Grove and start giving them to the tracks that give a shit.
Best idea I heard from a driver, as far as Williams goes, catch fence, not having it on the wall, having it. I heard this at Lincoln on Saturday. Their idea was have it maybe 5 feet off the wall, which I guess is kind of how Port does it, just to give it something there.
Outside of 3 and 4, they have it a little bit further back behind the billboard,
off the wall, which would be and still high, still like good, but it wouldn't, because we talked about like I think kind of
it
where
would
AJ
catch
Flick
them
was
from a
going.
15-foot drop.
Right, and it would negate what like AJ Flick was talking about, where if Whittle hits a catch fence pole there, what happens? I don't know.
They can make money off of this. Just put billboards up all the way around turn 1 and 2 and sell them. That would also probably help a little bit. Not ideal again, but if it comes down to a money thing.
So you want them to run it
you
like
gotta have people want to advertise at the racetrack. It's Williams Grove, right?
You want to run like a corporation, not a racetrack?
You have to have people that want to advertise with the racetrack that want to
That's
support
true.
it.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. We see this over and over again, and every year it's somebody getting. Every year it's something that I don't know. It's just frustrating, and I have a good time when I go there, but that type of stuff just less and less every year that I want to go there.
And listen, I was standing in turn 3 and 4 when this happened. Just saw red flag, didn't know what happened. Someone said, that Justin went out of the fence, and TJ hit pretty hard and rolled 2. So I started making my way down to 1 and 2, and I've been at some tracks where people have been hurt. Unfortunately, I was at the race where Billy Kimmel died. This had every feeling and eeriness to it that those did. And to know that it was again in 1 and 2, and someone left the ballpark in 1 and 2 again, knowing that drop in trees and hills and poles is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Period. It's exhausting talking about it again. Even if we've talked about it 3 times in a year, it's 3 times too many.
Yes.
Period.
That track is dangerous and fast enough without having to worry about a catch fence. Like a lot of other shit can happen there, and that's racing. But there's so many things that Williams Grove can do, and if it's a money thing, I just don't buy it because they get 7 fucking World of Outlaw dates a year. That place gets fucking packed. They make fucking money, and I just don't
And
buy it.
we're replacing a 75-year-old bridge that I've never seen anybody hit in my life, but I've seen 3 cars exit 1 and 2 and 3 in a year. Like, I just don't understand it. Everyone talks about hitting the bridge and hitting the bridge and hitting the bridge, and yes, I know it's been hit. At this point,
Get rid of it.
it's safer than turn 1 and 2.
Fucking get rid of it. Just get rid of it.
Figure it out. It's got to be done. And thankful Justin's okay.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know
That's
if
the
he's
main
watched him.
thing.
He's been on the show with us. Big fan of Justin's. Love him. Love the family. I talked to Coral in the pits after and asked if she was okay because it's not my business if Justin was okay. I didn't ask that, but she was obviously you could tell she was concerned, but she was okay. Thankful Justin's going to be fine. I saw a picture on Facebook. They were sitting on the porch this morning, so can't wait to see Justin back at the racetrack
Yes.
and see his pretty ginger smiling face. So thankful you're all right, buddy.
Yes, absolutely. Get well soon. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Chris, you got any comments on this?
No, I don't mind about the catch fence thing. I mean, the bridge, I said it before. If you're taking it down, don't put a new one up. That's my comments. You guys
If they have
covered it.
money for a nice new bridge, they have
That's
money
beside the
to
point.
do something safer in 1 and 2.
I was pro. If you're taking the bridge down, just leave it down.
Nick Lowe, they have to afford the world famous fireworks before they put up a fence. I say that every time I see the fireworks. Every time I'm there for the fireworks.
now-
Pretty terrible.
And now
too, by the
Johnny
way.
Gibson's calling on the world famous fireworks. That's one way to sell it. Whatever. Made my kid happy.
And they look great this year.
Fireworks are cool. I
Right?
love the fireworks there. I think it's a
I-
cool little unique thing for them. But
It's not
if
unique.
I had to punt fireworks for 5 years to get a safer track, as a fan, I'm happy to make that sacrifice.
I feel like the camp fireworks are overrated to begin with. If I want to see things go boom, I just use my guns.
Well, because they do it for every mediocre
again,
or
I
above
see why, though,
show.
because it was a really good.
Green delays.
It was
you
a really
know.
good place in the night for it. It worked out. It worked out for that, and made my kid happy, and made a bunch of kids happy. So whatever.
Listen, they can put on a show.
Hmm?
I'll give them that.
Chris loves fireworks. Especially the pink ones. They're pretty. He likes those.
Yeah, I don't think it'll boom.
Oh. All right. What else?
Corey Lyson went out of the fence turn 3 at Port Royal. Yes, he did. He went
And he rolled down to a catch fence.
He went into
And
a
it wasn't
catch
that
fence
far.
and did not go into anything,
Or trees.
which is what we're saying.
Mark Smith
Which
did
was
that
the
one time.
suggestion about outside of 1 and 2. Just so you're not dropping, or keep rolling in the other stuff. There's
A lot more
you're
predictability.
going off level, dissipating a little bit of energy before you hit a catch fence. Let's move on. Winner Friday night.
Buckwalter.
Don't even
Steve-
remember.
Steve Buckwalter, baby.
And Zach Newland.
Pretty well dominated this race. He did a good job. He did what he needed to do. Austin Bishop, P2, career
Shout
best. Shout out. That was awesome. His car didn't go in restarts like Steve's, and he just couldn't quite get to him to make a move. Hellacious battles behind Bishop, Borden, Halligan. I can't remember who else it was. It was pretty intense. It was fun to watch, and it was a big ass curb in 3 and 4 again. And as the feature went on, they were better and better about not hitting it and doing gigantic wheel stands. But early in that feature, man, there were some massive wheel stands, and it was cool to watch. So it was Buckwalter and Bishop, and then as Chris was just saying, 358 features. Zach Newland gets the win
I was happy to see
in
that.
a fantastic battle with Cody Hartlaub.
Sucks for
I'll
Cody,
be honest,
for
I
sure.
was hyped when Zach got the lead. I was pretty hyped, even though he passed the friend of the show, the double OF of Chris, 00F of Chris Frank.
The rat.
And listen, Chris Frank was running the top. You may not believe this, but I have photographic evidence of Chris Frank running
Hold
the
on.
top.
What
We
was
might
the
need
top,
that.
though, at Williams Grove?
He was on the curb.
How far up was the curve?
He just trying to make Billy a liar when Billy was on here and said that Chris Frank won't leave the bottom no matter what.
To make Billy look bad.
That's why he did
I
it.
think he does.
That's why he did it now.
And Zach Newland drove by him on the bottom.
Wow.
So I was happy for Zach for sure. And then honestly, I'm like wandering around watching the feature, and here comes Cody Hartlaub. And I thought when Cody got beside him in 1 and 2, I thought it was over. Cody's going. Cody's won a lot of races. Not that Zach hasn't, but like Cody's rolling this year, and it sounds like in 3 and 4 Cody hadn't passed, and he didn't protect the slider well enough, or the defended it. And Zach got by and did his job, man. So happy for them and the crew and the team. I knew they were hyped. They had a lot of family there and a lot, the team, and
Did he
they
do
were
double that
super
night?
excited.
Cody did.
Zach,
Cody.
Cody did,
Yeah.
yes. Cody did have his 410. He pulled double duty there. I ran all the laps there, got some valuable seat time. Car went away at the end. I can't remember. I think he was maybe on throttle or brake issues or fuel.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was
remember.
throttle, I think
Um,
Dakota said.
but he was in that battle. I got a cool picture of him and Ryan Timms battling. So like, you're battling Ryan Timms anywhere, you're doing something right. So we had some double duty drivers, and listen, we also had an invader, not there to broken throttle return spring. Yeah, that's not ideal. Um, less than ideal, in that, as a matter of fact. Um, but we had an invader other than Ryan Timms. Ryan Timms was an invader, but we had an invader from Australia with us.
All mate.
Ryan Newton. No, Ryan.
Yes.
Is it Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan
Yeah.
Newton. Almost like Ryan
Why does that
Newman.
not sound right in my head?
Because it sounds like
Yeah,
Ryan
right,
Newman.
that's what my brain went to. Got to know these guys a
Yeah.
little bit. Actually, the Summer Nationals weekend, they got in town. They got in town Summer Nationals weekend Saturday, after being on airplanes and airlines for like 3 days. They finally got here. Got to meet them and the crew a little bit. Brady Baldwin does iRacing, and he reached out and said they were coming over for a bunch of weeks. And I happened to see the schedule, but I didn't know he worked with the team. Got to meet them, and then they ran Friday and got a top 10 their first day out. So
pretty
they
legit.
completed all the laps. He's not afraid to use the right pedal. I'm going to tell you all that in Central PA now. If you're not looking out, if you didn't see it this weekend,
Watch
because
out.
I also have evidence of how he did Saturday, which we'll get into in a minute, of this kid just absolutely gassing the shit out of a 410 sprint car. But he's learning at the same time. So he got a top 10. So shout out to those guys for coming over here. And listen, they flew over here. They didn't bring a car with them. They bought all the parts at Racers Used Parts Warehouse, assembled a car this past week to get it ready for Friday night. It was in
It's great.
pieces. They put a whole car together. They bought everything
I love it.
from scratch, put it together to race this weekend. It's a beautiful car. Ryan Taylor Graphics did the scheme on it. It's beautiful blue and white car. Pretty cool. Just cool to have them come over and make the commitment. I think they're here for 7 weeks.
I think they're here almost for the rest of the year. Basically for
close to,
Tusky
yeah,
at least.
They're here, yeah. So they're working on the car at Sandoz with Danny. I think they have the car there doing some maintenance and some things. I know Danny's been a big help to them, Danny and Billy. So that was pretty cool. But scary night, but ended up being a good night. We got all the racing in, by the way.
Yeah.
No victory lane after the 410 feature. Went right to the 358 feature. Watched a great feature there, and in victory lane started pouring.
I got home.
In victory lane,
I got home, heard the feature still on the track, and within 10 minutes of laying down, it just straight dumped.
It did. I got very wet walking to my car.
Payback.
And then when I got to my car, it was done. So
Payback for BAPS.
that was fun.
So we'll move on to Saturday
All
night,
right.
Lincoln. I know this is something that you guys were both in. Jay-Z, you really, were working close with, was the Rack Daddies Rumble at Lincoln.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Tell us how that went.
Luke Rich and his team, he's part of Rack Daddies, and he asked me to help out, just do a little photography stuff here and there with the event stuff, and went over to the tent a little bit. So I got there earlier than I normally would have, especially with threat of rain yet again in Central PA, because that would have been a night I would not have gone early to then show up and it rained. But a couple little drizzles, showers went through. We were good, and great event. What a turnout! Like for a show like that. Now it did help Port canceled, so maybe you had a couple more people come in. We didn't have cars come in. Well,
Port was
actually,
like a foot underwater, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, they could have got.
They could have got it in.
Sunny.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, could have got it in. It was sunny. But great crowd, and it was Rack Daddy's Rumble. It was Rack Daddy shirts everywhere. They really did a really nice job of putting an event on that was more than just, hey, we're a sponsor. They did a great job. So shout out to Luke and his team. And they also did a unique format. And I believe the format that they originally picked, it got modified a little bit in going into the day. Which again, I heard both of them, and I guess I could see that makes some sense. I think some people don't like change for the sake of change, so I don't think they were happy that it changed. Um, but the heats were handicapped by points at Lincoln, and then the top 12s out of those heats, the finishing order top 12 went into a 2-lap head-to-head showdown. Aussie Scramble
Yep.
is what they
Yeah.
called it, and sort of like a King of the Hill to line up the feature. And there were some awards based around that. Aaron Bollinger won an award but didn't get the pole. Millard ran one head to head and got the pole. I don't really know. I was standing in turn 1 and 2 and couldn't hear shit from the announcers. So I was deaf as to what was happening. And there was a lot of weird shit going on with sort of jump starts, but weren't jump starts. And then there were jump starts, but let them run a lap and a half. And then said there was some, I don't fucking know what was going on, but I felt like an idiot because I couldn't tell what was happening. And in 1 and 2, if you're a fan in the infield of 1 and 2, you can't hear shit.
So before you
I didn't know what was happening.
keep going on this, I just want to touch on one thing. I love that because you have all these sponsored nights and they're just regular nights sponsored. They went through, they made it an event. They, even with a little bit of a different format, a couple different things, and this is something when we talked to Justin Snyder earlier in the year, a track promoter, this is the type of stuff you need to do. You need to make events, and just a little bit of a change up from the norm, and it brought people out, and it was something exciting and new.
It paid.
I saw a lot of comments on Twitter about this Aussie Scramble.
I thought it was fun
That
from where we
yeah,
were.
I did too.
Back to your point about Rack Daddies real quick. Not only did they have the thing on the stage there, they were showing the merch stuff. There was a ton of the Rack Daddy Rumble shirts in the infield. I even got one for Brielle. So they did a really
The
good job
second
with
annual
that.
next year, it was such a hit. You have to feel like it would come back.
It did. Well, they had it last year.
Oh, they did? See, I didn't even know. My bad.
Uh-huh. Last year was the first one. They did it last
So this
year,
was
and
the
they were
second
back
annual.
this year. This year was second
I
annual.
saw
Yeah.
some of their guys going around doing hot laps, like shaking hands with whoever was different guys who were donating for like the veterans and stuff like that. So that was just that kind of engagement is what you need or want from a sponsor for to put an event on. Now you can go back to bitching about
helping the track put an event on, putting the extra money in, making it something special, not just regular handicap night sponsored by this whatever.
And
that's great.
You
I'm not knocking that because we need that. But at the same time, you want people to get to the track and not stay at home and watch it. You need to make events, and this is an event now.
But it's an event. But here's the thing, and I don't know, and this is something I don't know, but I would bet that they paid more money as a sponsor to get these things done.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
probably it costs money to change a format. Probably, right?
I would
be my
assume.
guess. $7,000 purse.
I'm surprised with 7,000.
Heat race award.
7,000 to win. I'm surprised you didn't do time trials, but that's me.
They had hard charger money. I thought time trials too.
At least group
to line up by handicap. It still ended up a handicap race. At the end of the day, Millard, Chris Arnold, there was a lot of guys in the front of that field that would have handicapped if they got out of their heat. If they got out of their heat and got into the redraw or the handicap redraw, whatever they call it, it kind of ended up that way anyway, a little bit. It definitely changed it up a little. And really, I'll be honest with you, the track wasn't great for the heats. It was really good for the feature. So it kind of created where, those guys that could pass and start in the back, because of the way the Aussie Scramble went down, they started in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th ish. So Freddie and Danny, who didn't start on the front row, it made it interesting. So kind of ended up like it was a handicap night, but it made a little flair to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I love that. I thought it was cool. It was interesting. I just wish I could hear what the hell was happening at the time, because I'm like following it and going, that wasn't a jump start. They were perfect. And it wasn't, I don't know what's happening. And they did it again. And then the next one kind of was a jump start. And it changed the outcome of the first one.
Everybody should have loved it there because you had Freddie versus Danny 1-on-1.
Round one.
Like that's round one. That's what if you did that, if you had no other cars there and you just had Freddie and Danny run 30 laps by themselves together, you would still probably pack that place.
I still
pack that place, but you'd still have your regulars come out because that's what they want.
If you did that every week, they'd probably wreck each other.
Probably.
They tried to do it anyway in the feature.
They tried it anyway all night. Listen, this is another week at Lincoln Speedway when people bitch about flow or not being on flow or being on flow. This is just another example of a weekend to get your ass to the racetrack.
By
Because
making an event.
what you saw on social media, right? If you saw the picture I posted on social media and you just want to make a comment about it, but your ass ain't at the racetrack, shame on you. Shame on you for being an uneducated asshole just commenting on social media on a post you see without being at the racetrack. You should be at the racetrack if you want to see this fun shit. This was cool. This was an event. It was awesome. Kudos to Lincoln. Kudos to Rack Daddies for getting together. And even if the last minute change was last minute change, if it was for the better, whatever, we can debate that. But they got together and made it something.
Tyler also makes a good point here. It wasn't just the 410s that they supported; they also supported the 358s through a little
and the 360s and 358s, right? Yep.
360s and the 358s.
Before we go down the wheel route, all just glad Chase Dietz was okay after it was kind of gnarly flip, taking out poles and cables, and
that was wild.
I honestly thought he was going to the grandstands. Good thing he had a catch fence there, but that was wild.
Weird how the catch fence is behind the pole, though.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird placement, right? But
like a telephone pole, let's put a catch fence behind.
At least they have a catch fence.
Yeah, it didn't really matter.
That's
true.
The
poles there.
To guard the fans is probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's probably a great idea, actually.
Yeah. Like I saw that from the start to finish from the infield. It was spectacular. Glad he's okay, and kudos to them for getting that enough damage under the track to get their car fixed to finish the heat. That's pretty cool.
Well, probably took them so long to fix the pole, right? But that's awesome.
Yeah.
Still,
It went from sunshine to dark.
Well, that's why I said good job by Chase. If you're going to do it, make sure you hurt the track enough that you can get your car fixed. Because they had the, I didn't even know Lincoln had a utility truck there. Props to them for being ready to fix the light pole. Like they had it out there within minutes.
Big facts, because it could have just been like, well, we're kind of done for the night, boys.
Right, or we have to wait for a PP&L to show up. Like, no, they had within. It was like the water truck, just utility trucks just out there working on the pole, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, we turned around and there's a damn utility truck with a pole. Like, I'm like,
what in
shit.
the hell is happening right now? And
well, Fred, you're back there digging on that thing, man. Let's go.
Of all things to have, that's crazy.
So Freddie with the win.
Freddie with the win. That's it. Nothing happened during
There's
race.
more.
There's more.
Listen, there's more.
I'm going to let you go into that. Go for it.
No. I don't know if I'm going to go into all of it.
Go into whatever you want.
No, you're right. Freddie wins the race. That's all there is to it. No, fantastic race. I was watching it and I didn't know. As I'm watching, Danny got the lead, and Freddie was like, there was always a lap car between them, one and two lap cars, and really the caution came out, and at the end of the day, you go again, look back and game film it. It hurt Danny. Danny was going to win that race if it goes green.
For sure.
Period. He was winning that race if it goes green. But it's racing. Caution flags happen. Period. Like, it is what it is. You got to race it out. And now you have clean air. Honestly, clean air is big in sprint car racing. We all know it. You know it. We all know it. You have the green flag in clean air. You got beat by a better car at that time. And it was really eerily quiet.
It was kind of weird. I think people were confused because like
it was he got beat heads up.
It was great watching them come through the pack together.
It was entertaining.
And then he went, and Freddie, I actually saw the replay today, finally, from the highlights of how he actually got the lead, how he just barely squeezed between Danny and the inside guardrail.
He did that for 3 laps. It was close in 1 and 2, 3 laps, and guessing where the other was going to go.
And he came out in the last lap with a win, and everyone was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, what just happened here? Like,
I think you and I think most people that's been there regularly know it when that caution came out that Freddie was the better car at that point anyway, and giving a fresh track with 2 laps was maybe just enough.
I mean, I don't know if he was the better car because they were getting through lap traffic about the same. And like, typically lap traffic is going to hold the leader up more than it's going to help the leader. It's always second place is better to be when you're in lap traffic. And Freddie wasn't like really running him down. They were pretty equal. When that yellow came out, I was surprised. Like, they took off and Danny had a pretty good lead, and it felt like Freddie was just driving it harder and harder and harder, especially in 3. 1 and 2 was fairly technical. You top bottom. Freddie was running like a little mini slider line a little bit to the cushion. But in 3 and 4, it was like Danny would kind of middle bottom, and Freddie would just rip the top harder and harder at each lap. And I'm like, he's there. Like, this is interesting. And he got there, and the cat and mouse game they were playing into one each the last couple laps was wild. I was standing in the middle of the infield there, like not the flagpole, not the front stretch. I was like in the middle. And like peeking out around, watching go down through 1 and 2, and it's this cat and mouse game of like which lane. And Freddie was just doing the opposite. No matter what Danny did, Freddie would just do the opposite, and they'd come out equal. And then finally, there that move into one, and watching the replay from the angle, it was a lot closer than I thought it
Right.
was. It was very close, and you know he was just a better car at that point. Danny was playing defense, and Freddie gets the win, and it's a big win. You know, to not just win, but the way you won it, beating Danny. Right, they're the best two cars at the racetrack each week at Lincoln, and you know I know I'm sure he was thrilled about it when he got to victory lane for sure. And it's look, it's what, win number 11.
I
11?
think he has like the most
11,
wins in the
11,
country.
11 in the year, 9 at
something like
Lincoln.
that.
Yes.
Right. So winningest driver in the country. So hell of a year for him. No matter you root for or against the guy, he's got 11 damn wins at Central PA. Period.
He's having
Like,
such a great year at Lincoln. Like it should be recognized as a positive thing for sure. Not one
right.
track wonder thing, because you know we've heard that before, even with other drivers. But if you're beating good competition there, you deserve all.
It doesn't
the
matter
gear
if you're beating good competition or not. In this era,
to win that many
it's
races.
all good competition with handicapping.
Yep.
Right. It's not like
Yeah.
you're time trialing to the
He
pole every
started
week.
12th Saturday. and
Right.
drove all the
Passing
way up.
cars and earning it every week.
And honestly, this season, you know what it reminds me of? His dad. This is the shit his dad used to
Yeah.
do at Lincoln, and everybody gave him shit for winning at Lincoln and winning at Lincoln and winning at Lincoln. But guess what? Somebody's got to win the damn races, guys. Somebody's got to win the fucking race every week. If you're the guy entering that race every week, do you want to go win it? You're goddamn right you do. So does he. So does all the other guys that show up every week. And guess what? He's won more than all of them. Period. It should be commended for what he's doing this year. We haven't seen a domination at Lincoln in a while like this, right? What did Danny win last year at Lincoln? He won a bunch in a row. Did he win like 6 in a row?
Like he had hot streaks, but
I think he won like 6 in a row at one point at Lincoln last year. But this year is an exceptional year for any driver, right? So I don't believe Danny got all the hate for winning 6 in a row like Freddie gets this year. So like, let's chill out with that, right? But that's part of the world we live in, and that's why Luke said we should all delete social media. If we did, we'd all probably enjoy each other way, way more.
Yeah.
But yeah, 358 feature
or 360.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead. I have nothing for this because I left. I had to go home.
Well, okay.
Because it was
all right.
Was it a 358 feature or was it a 360 feature? Because I'm so
confused.
This
was a 358 feature, fellas, and there was a 360 entered. I heard there was a 360 at the racetrack Saturday night, and I'm like, there's someone pointed out in hot laps. Okay, hot laps. This is before the green flag flew for a race that mattered. Someone said, yeah, it's a 360 running with the 410s. And I'm like, oh, cool, but he's out here hot lapping with the 358s. So I thought whoever told me that was full of shit. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, he ain't driving it like it's a 360 because he didn't get it sideways till he was halfway through the corner and didn't drive it very hard. So I'm like, all right, whatever. It's probably a 358, like whatever. It's not a 360 running with the 410s. Surely you don't run a 360 with 358s at Lincoln Speedway because they're not 360s. And the night went on and it went on and whatever. And the guy transferred out of the B in the last spot.
Yes.
Last car to transfer, maybe
That's what
fifth,
I heard.
sixth,
That's what
whatever.
I read, yes.
And then I find out the next day that he was DQ'd after the B main because he has a 360 in the goddamn car. And the guy makes his own post on Facebook, went to the racetrack knowing he had a 360, didn't know it was a 358 race, didn't know, said, no, I made my first time there made the feature with a 360. Like it was a good thing. Like he cured a disease or something.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I made a race with an illegal engine and a track I've never been to.
And a wing too,
okay,
right?
my guy. Huh?
The wing was illegal too, right?
Apparently, fuck the wing, whatever. It was a dish wing. He wasn't going fast enough for it to matter. But how does this happen? I heard as a fan, as an idiot fan standing in the infield, it was a 360 in hot laps. So I don't know anything, and I probably could be ignorant if somebody from the track came on here and told me, like, oh, here's why this is this, and I could look like an idiot because I don't know anything. But as a fan, I'm sitting there going, I heard it was a 360 from before we had delays and red flags and poles hit
Right.
and feelings hurt. I heard it was a 360 run over 358s, and it got all the way to transfer out of the B main before we decided to
All the way.
allow it to move on.
They didn't do it to the end of the feature, right?
I don't know. I don't think he was allowed to. I thought I heard it was after the B. Okay. But here's the bigger story that I've heard. Now, Ant, he is a crew chief for a 358 and a 410
And a 360.
and another 358 and a wingless car. He is the crew chief of all crew chiefs. But I have heard, and this is, I don't have anything to back this up. All right, after the B, that's what I heard. I have heard that there is zero tacking done to 358s. And somebody even commented on
Just at
my
Lincoln
post.
or just anywhere?
I don't know. I don't know that answer. I think anywhere because, I mean, you've heard the stories about people cheating at Williams Grove in a 358 for years because they dominate different drivers of unnamed people. But I comment even on my post of Frankie Her winning said this car wasn't teched. I said, are any of them? Because I've heard this before. So if you work on a car and your car wins, is your car teched or is it just some cars that aren't teched? No, zero. There you go.
We
Cody
got
Harlow. We got
some
teched to go in the back.
straight from the horse's mouth.
Okay. So the guys that are these are the important people in the comments, not me. But
Amp Bay, zero.
how in a sprint car division this competitive is there's no tacking at Lincoln Speedway? To allow a 360 that I heard as an idiot fan in the infield, it was a fucking 360 in hot laps. To get all the way to the B main and race. How's it allowed on the track for a heat? Someone's got to answer. I don't understand. I don't know it. But I would bet at this point, there's been a lot of years at this that we haven't been teched after a win at Lincoln in 5 years. So you tell me how many cars are legal at Lincoln Speedway in the 358 division. If you have a 24 car field, how many are
Do they even
legal?
did he at least get weighed? I mean, not that it really.
Yeah, I think they get weighed. Yes, I believe, and I believe they do because I see them going to pits. They come back around out for victory lane. They don't just park after the checkers. But if that's their tech, come on, my guys.
Top 5 get weighed. So it's not just the 358s that this happens with. This happens on.
I want to point out real quick. You said the crew chief of all crew chief was Amp Bay, and then actually Dakota Coon shows up in the chat to say hi to me. You must be being weird out there. Continue on.
I don't know. I just can't see how a 360 that everybody apparently knew was a 360 got all the way to qualifying through the B main to be found out it was a 360 by people that work at the place. How's this happen? I want to know. I actually would love to know. But here's what I'll say. You're never going to hear from a track official because they're not allowed to talk to anybody on social media about what happens at the racetrack. So there's that. Just so you know. We'll never know.
Facts. Big facts.
That's all I got.
Thanks.
There's that.
Dakota on the compliment on the mic. Trying something new out. Appreciate it. And just says I'm just a guy with great drivers making me look good.
There you go. Yeah, listen, you don't need drivers to make you look good, big fella. You just need them shades and a fresh cut and a fresh trim, my guy. Anyway,
so yeah,
Tony, you don't want to anymore.
Does
Tony.
that open up a can of?
Oh yeah.
Of why is there a 358 and a 360 division?
I mean,
not that it should, but
yeah, it's still stupid. It shouldn't be a thing. 358 is fucking dumb. Yeah. Everybody in the country knows it, but us. We're the only ones that are like, yeah, let's do this. But whatever. I mean, we ran with a goofy ass wing until a couple years ago too, and everybody else in the world was like, "What the hell are they doing over there?" Like they don't like us as it is. So, like we just encourage them. Like we still run Super Sportsman. Like that's normal here.
Tony, whatever you're thinking you should do, questioning what you should do, yes, you absolutely should.
Tony Sharp should be next week's guest.
He
What do you
should. Yeah, shout out
think? Oh,
Tony Sharp,
shit.
man.
That way
He
he has
is a
time.
legend.
That way, he has time to clear everything with his bosses at BAPS.
And listen, Tony's a real one, dude. He's got the Sportsman 100 coming.
Yep, we're going to talk
There's
about that
live
here in a little bit.
sponsorship. Oh, you are? Okay.
Well, yeah,
Listen,
I got the graphics queued up,
know.
baby. We could talk about it right now.
I don't know what's going on around here. I'm just here to for the entertainment.
Bring it up right now. There you go. Sportsman 100, 49th annual. These are some of the sponsorship and awards opportunities. And this is the payout. $4,000 to win for a Sportsman feature is pretty good. You also got late models and 602 mods, right? 602 modifieds, right?
September 2nd.
September 2nd. Get your ass there. BAPS.
It's Dirt Classic, isn't it?
I should say this, though. And all the people watching that are involved with 358 division, if they start teching, I'm sorry. Because if it starts now and y'all get caught with something, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I was trying to answer Jeremy's rhetorical question of how many are legal. I'm going to go with none of them.
I got enough people that dislike me around that place right now. I'll just add to the whole 358 division. Just add everybody else now, so it's okay. Yeah. There you go. Put that on the screen.
They feel safe. Nothing's going to happen to them. They know how to do it. Last time I saw 58 actually get torn down, they had to leave the track to go to engine builders because one, they didn't know how to know what they were doing, and two, didn't have the right stuff.
There you
I think the engines are safe at least.
It makes my brain hurt.
Anything else from Lincoln on Saturday?
Yes. To say at the beginning of the night, another night of professional auto racing, and then you have these things happening. Shit. No, that's it. That's it. Moving on. Let's go. I don't want to.
Yeah.
They did a great job Saturday. I don't want to. I don't want.
Everything was great. Glad Chase is good. He was the hard charger for that feature, by the way. I saw that in the thing. 19th to 8th. Good recovery for Chase. Deets.
Yeah. Very good feature. That track came around, man. Shout out Fred Putney, a magician. It was exceptional at the end of that night for both divisions. Had a great racetrack to run on. Ryan Newton, by the way, again, I have a picture. I have it on I posted it a couple places, but left a mark on the entry to turn 3 wall at Lincoln. I told him he should go sign it. But this kid, Chris can vouch. He comes out in his heat race and just absolutely Monteithing it around the corner, my guy. Just set in a corner and 100% throttle, just ripping around people. Then he goes to the middle one lap. It's slick in the middle, spins himself out. He gets going again and does it again, just ripping and absolutely ripping. So, isn't afraid to find the right pedal. Just needs some experience. He needs some laps around. So hopefully you'll see improvement as the summer goes on. This kid has it. He has what it takes to get this right. So I'm encouraged to see what
all the vibes that you're giving me and stuff that you're telling me. It reminds me of when Devin Borden came here in his car.
Very reminiscent of like not afraid to go figure out and find the edge of where it's at. And Lincoln is very much what he raced on. Like Williams Grove was Mars to him Friday night. Like they don't have that shit where he races in Australia. And Port Royal, they plan on going to Port Saturday. That's even wilder different than what they have around. I said, I asked him after Friday night in the pits, I said, what'd you think? He goes, man, it was fast, in a heavy Australian accent because I could barely understand what he said. But he goes, man, it was fast. I said, you wait till tomorrow night at Port, my guy, in hot laps. Like, because after that, it's just dusty and slow. But hot laps are probably fast. But like, yeah, I said, and then they end up at Lincoln, and that was definitely more their speed. But that track, the surface in the heat races was really slick. I don't do an Australian accent except one word, and I'm not going to use that on here. So,
oi,
yeah, oi, yeah. But yeah, no. Shout out Ryan Newton and the team, man. Hopefully they have a good, successful trip over here. And if you're in the pits, go meet them. Friendly guys, they're awesome. Go shake their hand, say hi, and good luck. And I don't think they have merch and T-shirts, but support them, man. They're over here in PA.
Hopefully by the end of the trip they will.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a smart thing to do.
Maybe. For sure.
Christopher Noah asking if he'll be here for National Open. I don't think that's on their schedule. I think they're here
by
through.
I think their season starts probably back home by around then.
Maybe.
Let's see.
But either way, they're here for about a month and a half. So that'll be good. It's good to see another car coming, and some different talent coming, trying to, figure out what they got, kind of, against some of the best in the country. That's here in PA, straight up.
So this season in Australia that just ended was his second full-time year in a 410. He's 19.
Damn.
Definitely
We have to get him on the show.
You know what? We'll get him on the show, and hopefully we'll have a translator.
What's Craig done up to?
Because I want to understand what he's. I'm back all the way to March. I can't see his schedule. They definitely posted his schedule somewhere. It's Instagram. That ain't it.
Well,
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. He definitely posted his schedule
we'll
somewhere.
get it. We'll share it with the page then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll share it. We'll put it out there somewhere.
So we got.
But what else?
What
all
else
good
did we
there.
have?
That's all we had.
Outlaws at Weed Sport.
Rains and then
Rain,
whatever happened
one
last
rain
night,
out,
didn't watch it.
and then
Gravel.
Gravel won last night. That's number 10 for him
Sheldon
on the
did
year.
throw a helmet.
Dave.
No helmet.
No
throws.
helmet throws from Sheldon this year.
Dave Blaney finished third. Is that right? Or was it
Dave
Dale?
Blaney.
Dave.
Blaney finished third.
How
He
about
was
that?
he was rolling there, man. I mean, it was the Dave Blaney track. It was slow. It was slick, and that thing was just doing
Dave
its thing.
Blaney said
28-second
69K.
laps.
That's it right there. Dave Blaney, 69K. Lock it in.
Yeah,
Williams.
that would be
Well,
cool though.
That would be cool, but it's not going to happen.
I mean, he drives the same race car.
One other thing, I guess, Selinsgrove ran the day of Pocono. It didn't sound like they had a great car count, about 18, which is a shame. But in the middle of this season right now, it's kind of tough to run. You have BAPS, then you had,
double groves off of high limit going into another
high limit. Didn't even have that many cars. I mean, I think some cars just showed up because it was 1,500 to start. And
the burnout is real. The burnout is real. And
we've seen posts from Danny kind of alluding to it, like how tough it is, and Brent
Jacob
going, Ashley Capetta even come out with the post. Jacob obviously stepping away for a weekend, and sometimes all you need is a little bit of a break. But I mean, it's tough, even for the local races that are here. I mean, they're going to Ron Rutherford's tore up a lot of cars. He's not the driver, but it still wears on an owner too when you're constantly putting money.
It's on everyone. It wore on us.
Yeah, look, we go missing all the time.
I've never been on the train that we race too much around here as a fan, because as a fan, I want to watch all the racing I can.
I was never on that train. I think I might be on that train now.
I'm getting closer because I've been to more races the last 2 years with the involvement in what I'm doing. It's my own involvement. No one's asking me to do it. I'm not committed to it, but I'm not even working on a race car and cleaning a race car and maintaining a race car and towing a race car and fixing a race car. And buddy, I'm worn out.
Right.
Like, I can completely understand how I feel versus how they have to be feeling.
100%.
So,
and you figure,
yeah, but unless you are committed to a series, you can race all you want.
Yeah.
Now, if you made a commitment to your sponsors, it's on you to figure that out. If you made a commitment to your sponsors to race, it's a commitment you made. You're going to figure it out. Yep. Like, I don't want to go to work 5 days a week sometimes, but guess what? I got a commitment I made, and I got to go feed my fucking family. So if you made a commitment to a series, yes, you can be burnt out, and you can do that, but just a commitment you made.
Yep.
If you don't have yourself tied to that, you don't have to do it. Just saying.
Yeah. You
can not do it. Take a weekend off. Mm-hmm. And this year, I think more than ever, though, you've heard that more vocal from the teams. And I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna sit here and criticize. I'm not a driver. I'm not a team owner. But if you're doing it for a living, you can make the post, but you're going to show up because you're doing it for a living. Yeah. If you ain't doing it for a living, don't do it then.
I do think a little bit of this is it's good to see, because I think it goes back to like the mental side. It kind of gets lost in sports and mostly a lot of racing and everything. Everyone kind of just forgets about it, or pretends it doesn't exist, and it's like the stigma of you don't bring up mental burnout and just stuff like that. So I think it's cool to see guys like Danny, who is the voice in the pit, kind of say it out loud, like, I'm not having fun, or Jacob putting out there, I'm just not in a good place right now. And that shows the younger generation, hey, maybe you don't have to go all the way and play tough guy. If you're not feeling well or need a break, take a break.
A wise crew chief once told us we race too damn much. Shout out to Dakota Kuhn because he said that earlier this year,
He
and
said that
100%,
he said
100%.
that
We just
probably before we even had the show. He was on that train.
yeah.
We get
He
hyped.
really racing, like
Yeah.
he
Even with the
racing.
rainouts, because even with the rainouts, a lot of the rainouts, you're still going to the track and showing up and unloading, or maybe even you're still getting prepared. You still got to go through the whole motion.
And then when it's not going, when things aren't going your way, or whether it be of your own doing or otherwise.
Winning cures a lot, and that's some of this, right?
Yeah, Freddie's
So I
like,
think
let's race every day.
well, there's a balance to it, right? I think winning definitely makes some of that stuff easier. When you're not winning and you've raced all those times and you're putting all that effort in and you're working a full-time job and there's social media and there's sponsors and there's money involved and there, I get it. I completely get it. If it's your livelihood, even more pressure on yourself. You can't take the weekend off. You got to figure it out. If it's not your livelihood and your weekday, Monday through Friday is your livelihood, and your Saturday and Sunday, your weekend warrior racer, yeah, in Central PA, we race a lot, but you don't have to race a lot.
Unless, like
You
you
could
said, if you made a commitment to sponsors to
To
race a
run for
certain
points
amount,
or something like that.
point, and at
or
that point, and
for
here's
a track point
so,
title or something like that.
and then the pressure on yourself to compete because you're a competitive person, you want to win, and just like anything I can do, I want to win. If I get into it, I want to win it. I don't get into it to finish
Yeah.
to be average.
I'm not rolling in
I
there.
understand competition. Like I've been in competition my whole life in sports and different things. So I understand this part of it. But then the part of it that I can't relate to is the social media pressure of it. Because we are stupid as fans.
Right.
Central PA passionate fans are idiots.
Out of control.
We are
Case in point
idiot.
was Port Royal's comment section on.
You go back a few weeks ago, and I'm gonna be a little selfish here. I'm glad it's Port Royal this time, and not me having the blue in the face.
Listen, it
Penny Junior
wasn't
Grove.
Port Royal. It was one dumb idiot, and everybody else was agreeing.
I'm just saying overall, it's they're getting the flames or whatever from one dumb idiot that Winners Grove gets every Friday for anything they do for the whole first half of the year. It's like, guys, it is literally flooded in the tunnel. That's a big tunnel.
And there's more rain coming potentially. Even if it didn't
Every
rain, it was
single
still gonna
track
be a
north of
shit.
Blue Mountain
Yeah.
canceled. Here's your sign. Path Valley, Mercer, all those canceled. Lincoln didn't cancel because it's crazy. They're way south, and everything went above us.
It didn't rain.
Right, everything went above Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Idiots. Justin Center's right. And the other, what's Ritz? He's right too. It's everything just delete social media.
We got to give Tony a shout out here. I completely feel for drivers that get burned out, but no one ever talks about the officials that work 2 or more tracks a week from February to October every year. All of us work regular jobs throughout the week, and most race nights we deal with a lot of shit for a small amount of money. We do it. I do it for the love of the sport and for the safety of the drivers, and that's true. I mean, it's every and I was even going to go into a much lesser extent, but even the fans, because the fans are so dedicated around here, we're gonna go to almost every race, and like it's still a lot to go out and try to do that.
Point, we have a
you
choice.
have a choice.
We don't even have a commitment to go there.
No,
other than just being selfish and don't want to feel left out.
Right. And Tony, I'm with you. But for you to commit to work 2 or more tracks, you love it, but you made the commitment. You are burnout, and you guys do an unbelievable service for not much. And I'm glad you have the passion for it, but it's also the commitment you made. Like I'm glad I haven't committed to pictures because there's been nights where I'm like, I have that choice. If I made a commitment to be the photographer at a track, or I was asked to be, and I said yes, it sucks. I don't know if I necessarily need pat on the back because I'm showing up every week to something I committed to doing.
Right. We used to even talk earlier.
But now,
about
Tony
Saturday.
is an invaluable part of the safety of the sport, and that is commended. That needs to be commended. The burnout, yeah, I believe you. It's real. Working Monday through Friday and doing it for pennies. But my guy, do one track. I love you, but do one. Or do none and be a fan and be an idiot like me.
Or take a midsummer break. Have these tracks take like a midsummer break, which you usually get that around Knoxville. But even now around Knoxville, you still have.
But even still, Knoxville races April So basically, they have the Knoxville Nationals, and they have track
Mhm.
championship the week after.
Yep.
And they're done sprint car wise. I mean, and it's even less because they got so much rain. We started February 26th.
Yeah,
with the
and it's been
icebreaker.
every week since.
And then you slide in the outlaw shows in March, so easily the slow burn that we have at the beginning of the year didn't even happen because they're like, oh, we have to be kill mode by March 15th because the outlaws are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it rained, but still, you have to be prepared whether you're racing or not.
Tony needs to be more like our friend Steel City Seaman. Buy tickets to an event, go to said event, and then just fall asleep in your car. Just don't go. Just be like, you know what? I'm tired. I don't want to go. And don't go. Go out, travel across the country. Travel 12 hours away, 6 hours, 8 hours away. Buy tickets to it and just don't go. Just stay in your hotel. You have that choice. And he made that choice. You can also make that choice.
You gotta also make that choice to just stay in a hotel room.
Just don't go. Just watch it on TV from the hotel 5 minutes
He's
away.
a little bitch.
Wait, what?
Oh, what
What was that?
What?
Sorry.
All
Sorry.
right.
It's getting absolutely tore apart here. So the story basically is, dude goes out to Eldora and doesn't go to the night before the King's Royal.
The
He needed a
night
break.
before.
Yep, he needed a break.
Just needed a
Needed
break.
a
from
break.
it.
Was
Just-
burnt out in the middle of 4
Mil-
days.
The million burned him down, boys.
He made 3 different excuses as to why he didn't go. By the way,
We're gonna
like I heard one, then I heard a second, then I heard a third one. So there's that.
All right.
anyway.
Let's move on. Let's
All
move
right,
on.
please.
Let's preview this. What's coming up here?
What is coming up? 'Cause I don't even know.
Rain on Friday for the
Yeah, it is probably going to rain on Friday. Tony here.
Oh, I get it.
Shout out. Here's the calendar for the month of August. We got Grove, Port, and Lincoln this weekend. Then next weekend, which is Knoxville Nationals weekend, you got Big Diamond on Friday and Clinton County and Lincoln on Saturday. Lincoln is nuts, dude. Lincoln races every freaking Saturday. They don't stop. And then you got Grove, Port Royal, Lincoln back, and then you got All Stars at Sealands Grove after that, and Grove, Lincoln, and then a BAPS show for that. So not too bad. No Thursday shows, only 2 Sunday shows.
That
should be interesting. A couple different tracks there that some of the 410s hit. Excited for the All Stars at Sealands Grove. If I could, I probably not going to be there, but because I'll be out in Springfield, but. Glad to see him to get an All-Star date back. What are you guys looking forward to this weekend?
hopefully get to Williams Grove.
Softball and Port Royal.
Softball and Port Royal. That's what
There's
I'm
no
I can't
way
wait
I'm
for
going to
Saturday.
Williams Grove. There's zero chance I'm going to Williams Grove Friday, even if they have it. If I have to be at your house at 8:30, fucking Northeast Pennsylvania, on Saturday morning,
7:30.
7:30. Wouldn't are you coming to my house or are you going right to the? I'll give you the address. It'd probably be easier, probably quicker for you to go right to where we're going to. So anyway,
yeah, there's zero shot I'm going to Williams Grove Friday night. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what event it is. I don't even know if there's another division.
358.
It could be the greatest show on
It's
earth.
going to be,
and I'm not
if they race, because I'm going to be there.
We got 2 comments about Lucas Oil at the end of the month for Port, which I'm actually pretty interested in going. I'm not a huge Fender fan, but I think I love the late models at Port Royal. It's just they're a great series, and I think it'd be cool to go to a Lucas Oil show. I've never been to a Lucas Oil show.
I haven't either. First one was rained out this year, right?
Yeah, and now they have a weekend with capped off with the $50,000 to win race. So
the race,
I'll shoot that one. That'd be fun.
I want
That'd
to
be a good
go.
one.
I'm circling that August 12th Phil Walter Classic at Clinton County. I'm hoping to be at that.
Clinton County's awesome. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to go, but
I'm making every effort to be there because that was fun. I like supporting new tracks. I'm not going to Big Diamond, no.
Oh yeah, Lucas Oil got the stupid playoff format. That's their finale.
Now it's stupid. Whatever.
It's dumb for dirt. It's dumb.
Period, but that's beside.
It's fine. NASCAR does it right.
It's the same thing. Anyway, not going in this rabbit hole. What else?
So, how many cars do you think we get at Williams Grove on Friday if they do run?
17, 410s.
That's a good count. I'd say 22.
Depends if all those 58 guys put up to 410s back in, like Nash,
Yeah.
Shealy, if those and Cody, if those guys do that again, then yeah. But Billy should be back. They had motor issues. They should be good to go. That's one car that wasn't there Friday that will be back.
Tyler's predicting 22 410s and 33
I can see the
58s.
22 410s.
Yeah.
I can see
22
22.
410s. 22.
I just went low.
18.3.
That's 18. That's 18 410s and a 360.
Then Port. It sucked that they had I love the
Dream Race with
the Dream Race got pushed back again, and the hot net again.
We don't even know when they're gonna run it, really.
Yeah, we'll find out.
What if? Never mind.
What if what?
It's dumb.
That's 8.3 is my buddy Freak.
I was gonna say it would be cool if they tied it into the Nittany showdown with the Outlaws. Night 1 being like
I
a hot net memorial, night 2 being
that would be cool.
Dream
I
Race.
could see that.
I don't see World Racing Group signing off on that.
I was thinking more Tusky week. Maybe make it that Thursday night or something.
So that Port Royal Dream Race, does that mean like Lance is now one of the dream drivers, like a retired like Keith Kaufman?
I mean, they did it with Mike. They did it with Mike Wagner one year.
I think they already did it with Lance.
They probably did.
Like, is he retired now?
I don't even know who they were doing it with this year.
I don't know.
There was a ton.
That's the problem. It used to be like one guy, like Kaufman, whoever it was, and then it just kind of now it's whoever, right? Which is cool.
Whatever. It was cool. The names on that list were wild. Like, I was like, this is cool.
Right.
I was actually I committed to helping out Luke with the Rack Daddies thing, but then I didn't realize it was the Dream Race. I don't know if I've been to the Dream Race.
I've been to one, and I've been always trying to go back, and then something's usually in the way.
I think I've only missed one. Did I
really?
It used to be one of the 2 Port races we tried to go to. I mean, this one and the 50, and it's like shirts from some of them. I don't know.
225 lap features.
And it used to be closer, like to the top of the list of. It was ahead of the Weikert. It used to be where the Weikert is on the rankings to me. Like it used to be the second biggest race at Port.
Yeah. Ann said he might have dropped in the other 358 for me. I can't fit in a car. Right? I don't think I'm fitting in a car. So there's that. But I might drive it harder in the corner than Kyle Keene.
Wow.
Just saying.
That was just not nice.
It's
a little bit of an inside joke, though. He'll know that joke. And if Kyle's listening,
that's me.
Friend of the show, love Kyle, love my boy. He listen. He can take the heat a little bit. He had a little sticker on the dash this weekend.
I know.
So
I knew that story. I wasn't even going to bring it up. That was
it's a bigger oof than this 00F finishing, losing the lead Friday night.
Came and said hi to me during that extended red period. And you're going to do him like that? My God. It's true, though. You should do it. You should follow Lance, listen.
But Saturday looks like a good show for Port Royal. 410s, super late models, and a pretty big limited late model race.
35.
It sounds. I think Port's going to get quite a few 410s. It sounds that way. I think they're going to get a couple extras that you don't usually see there. I'm not saying anything, but
a few surprises this weekend.
I think you're going to see some surprises there. I would not be surprised to see 30 to 32 410s at least there, but maybe about there. But and then you have Lincoln as well, normal show on a Saturday night.
Ron Zimmerman tribute race is for the limited lates.
Yes,
just wanted to get the proper credit.
Limited lates, the last couple of events at Port with the limiteds haven't had big car counts in that division.
Yeah, they haven't had.
Do you think this draws more?
Yeah,
or
Sealands Grove isn't running against them because sometimes they run limiteds against them. But I think you have maybe some supers, maybe you have some guys do double duty for how much it is to win. It's like $3,500 to win. Maybe, I don't know. I'm hoping you at least get a full field. I would imagine
Tyler needs to chime in on this one if he's still in the room. What's up with the 358 division, late model division at Port? Fairly low car counts the last couple times that I've noticed.
They have like 17, 18 to one time.
Yeah, like I remember, watching 358s over the years, having 30, 40 of them.
Just more guys.
And it seems like supers are now getting that. So like, has that
supers
dynamic
get
changed?
Like 30 every week, which is crazy.
Yeah. Sealands Grove. Okay, so they're just split. Yeah. They're just splitting up when they do run. Okay, more of a competition thing, more of a multiple tracks, local running versus just the division itself. Okay, that's fair. Because I love that division. I think it's a very competitive division. I just want to see them all together in the same night at the same place.
Yeah.
I want to see a B main of those things. I think they can put on a show for sure.
Yeah, and some guys have moved up to supers, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
as
a
well.
buddy of mine, I played softball with him and his uncle, cousin. He moved up from the 358 division to the super division simply for that reason. And he's younger, he's newer at it, but he moved up to the supers because the tracks they race at and the purses.
A 5,000 to win race at Hagerstown, and they had 58 cars.
That's where they all were.
I personally don't hope for that. I don't want, not with 3 divisions, but I do hope a good car count comes out. I could definitely see between the 3 divisions over 100 cars easy.
What do they call that dumb Friday thing? Oh, the Bowhunters Brawl. That's what it's called. Dumb.
Sounds like the Rack Daddy's Rumble.
Weird.
It's almost like
So
they
creative.
knocked it off or something.
Anyway, that's my rant on that. That's just dumb.
Do y'all see all right. We got to get to it now. It's been brought up in the chat.
And yeah.
Did you all see the Bloomsburg thing that came out this afternoon? Unless you already talked about it, I didn't catch it.
We put yourself on the big screen, Chris and I off to the side.
No, it's crazy.
Listen,
for months, we wanted Jimmy to shut up about Bloomsburg, and now today we wanted to talk about it, and he doesn't want to talk about it.
I've already said everything on this show about it. It's just ridiculous.
I feel like Ant was paid off.
The 65. So for those of you who don't know and maybe not have seen it, Bloomsburg is basically effectively shut down right now. They can't have races because of an ordinance, a sound ordinance put in by the town of 65 decibels, which, if you don't know, 65 decibels is less than a lawnmower, basically. And I can attest to this because I was in the pits one of their races, and granted it was a slingshots, but they had a bunch of slingshots on the track. I could hear lawnmowers over all the cars that were on the track. It's just somebody's not getting their pockets lined and is pissed off, and they got some type of judge who's just not giving any slack at all to the track. And basically they have to not run. It's sad. They put a lot of work into that track. It could be, I know it didn't get off on the best foot because they put I thought the big shows there were fun. But the track wasn't great. I know, our buddy Danny didn't really like it, and a lot of others, the second All-Star race and everything, but it's caused them to go on Thursday nights, run quieter cars. They've tried to do everything that they could. The town's into it. Every time I'm there, I see that back alley, filled up with people trying to watch, because from the back alley you could kind of see the backstretch and see into the track. Which kind of pisses me off, because go in and support the track. It's $15 to get in. Like, cut me a break that you're sitting in the back of a pickup truck. But at the same time, it shows that people in the town are interested in it and want to come and watch. The whole thing just pisses me off, and it's aggravating. And I'm hoping that they could fight this, and come back strong. But that place has a lot of potential. It's a great venue. They put a lot of work in the track. Is the shape of the track right? I don't know, but it doesn't really produce the best racing, but it produces some good racing. And I don't know. It's just aggravating. It's upsetting to me. That's track 5 down. Last year was like a dream to me, having 2 All-Star races 5 minutes down the road from me. I never thought that would happen. Like, the closest is Sealands Grove to me, 25 minutes away. And then everything else is an hour and a half, 2 hours. So to be able to drive 5 minutes down the road and see an All-Star race, or what about a late model race or a USAC race, was like, I was like dreaming. And now it's gone. So for now, hopefully it comes back and they could fight it, and maybe some reason can happen and some compromise. But for now, they're effectively shut down. It sucks.
And the one thing I saw was interesting. Like, I'm not real smart, but I saw something about an injunction that the track can do. And while the track is down, the track can actually sue the town for lost income. Okay. You build a track in a town that no one wants it in,
I wouldn't say that. It was a
but
certain sec.
obviously the town has
Be-
control. I'm with you, but a whole
The
town.
fair board
When a
passed the
few,
track, and the
I
fair board
know.
is a good chunk of the town. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's very intertwined. So I don't get where the disconnect is all of a sudden.
Well, that's public. What
Mm.
is the disconnect?
Yeah, maybe because after the first year where they had all this dust flying and it was pretty loud. I mean, you got 30 some 410s there ripping around for an all-star race at 10:30 at night. Okay, I get it. You know, but they have tried to get around that. What really aggravates me is it's only the racetrack. The fair, who when they have the fair in September, they have 8 concerts, which are even louder on that track. They bring the stage out onto that track, use the same grandstands. They'll have a bunch of concerts. They'll have a monster truck show. They just had the 4-wheel jamboree where you had just a bunch of drunk hicks in lifted for trucks and a bunch of monster trucks and all these other tractor pulls, mud bogs, going crazy for, which is great. I love it. Going crazy for a weekend there. That's okay, but a couple slingshot speedsters and modifieds can't run up for a couple hours on a Thursday night. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree completely, and someone's got to get their head out of their ass. They got to figure it the fuck out. But it doesn't sound good. Yeah.
That's what he gets. It's because he killed that praying mantis at Port.
Ampe said been at a concert there years ago and it went until midnight. Yeah, exactly. And listen, Bloomsburg doesn't have to shut down. They could run during the daytime as long as they keep it under 65 decibels, which is almost impossible. Like you want these, you might as well just have lawnmower races. But it just doesn't make sense to me that everything else is exempt. You had the 4-wheel jamboree that was nuts, and they had no complaints. It just doesn't make sense.
If they have lawnmower races, are these guys considered posse?
Dude, I will go to Bloomsburg.
Lawnmower posse. I'd go watch that.
I'd go race in it. Yeah, it could be our crew chief.
Can you put a 350 in a lawnmower? I want a 360.
Tyler makes a good point. It's a shame because we finally get a new track in a time when not a lot of tracks are being built. They put a lot of money into it. I mean, like $2 million into that facility to build that track. And I highly doubt that they made that back. So, it's going to suck for the fair board. It's going to suck for the town because it's intertwined. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. The judge just sounds like an asshole, and he almost sounds like he's being paid off the way it has gone. And I followed it in the news articles and papers, and from what I've heard, it's just no give at all. That's me. That's where I'm at on it. It sucks.
Look at Ant Bay in the comments till 10:28. I think he misses Kyle. I think Kyle Spence, and I think he misses Kyle. Hopefully he's doing okay out there on the road. Hopefully he's back soon, and you
Where's
guys
Kyle?
can. I think he's been out driving, doing midget racing.
Oh,
Been out racing a midget somewhere.
I know he was running. Shout out to him. He finished third at Linda's in that big hyper race to cap off Speed Week.
And all the tire results came back legal.
Yeah,
they made sure to tell us that.
How about that? How about that for tech? They send out tire samples,
and they all came back good.
Yeah,
How about that?
Yeah, there's that. There's a horde of micros in PA the other week. It was like a swarm of locusts. 100 cars every freaking night. Like, how do you manage that shit? It's good there are a lot of micros. There's a lot of pit area taken up. It's good they were little cars, huh?
I will say that Monday that we didn't have the show and you went to BAPS and I went to Greenwood, my first time there, because that's actually a relatively close track for me. First time ever there. It's literally in like somebody's backyard. Like there's a house and then it's like a little track in the backyard.
Showhammers. It's like that. Showhammers.
Yeah,
like
and it was crazy to me that like how the names that were like Kyle Busch ran there with his son Thursday and Friday. Sheldon Creed was there, and all those other names in the micro division. It's just kind of crazy to me that that's what these tracks can do. It can bring out, it can bring all sorts of avenues from motorsports all over to somebody's backyard.
I'm gonna check it out. Where was Greenwood? Was it? Or no, wait, no, Clinton County was 3 hours away.
Yeah,
Where's Greenwood?
Greenwood's
Same
even
thing.
farther.
Greenwood's about 15 minutes north of me.
So still 3
Okay,
hours
it's
for
gonna be
you.
over 2 hours.
Yeah, still 3 hours. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
about 10 minutes outside of Bloomsburg.
it's a different country. Might as
Yeah,
well be Canada.
Orangeville.
Yeah. All right. What else? Anything? We done?
I think we're
It's
done.
2 hours, 24 minutes.
360 Nationals this
25.
weekend. Picks.
Aaron Reitzel.
Aaron Reitzel. I don't really.
Sure.
Is Brian Brown
Aaron-
running the 360?
Aaron
If Brian
Reitzel or
Brown's
Carson
running,
Mosquito?
if Brian Brown runs the 360, then I would pick him.
I'll take Reitzel or Macedo.
High limit at Kokomo tomorrow. I'm excited to see some wing sprint cars at Kokomo. To be honest,
Get to watch a weekday race. Let's go.
I'm checking my messenger.
Tony, what my guy? All these
We got.
Jimmy's DMs.
Hold on. Let's put this up real quick. Got to
Getting a trend of
support.
this too.
He's gonna have to cut down the one track making all these graphics.
It's kids' night Saturday night at BAPS. Dollar hot dog night. Yo,
Oh shit!
got-
I'm skipping port. I'm going to Bass for hot dog.
you got Super Sportsman. You got the Legends. You got late models, and you got Extreme Stocks.
I honestly might be at
$15
BAPS.
to get in. That's a pretty good deal. That's a good little card.
Extreme stocks, baby. My favorite division. I love that division.
It sounds like a good time. Good night to go out. If you're around in the area with your kids and you're looking for something to do on a nice Saturday night,
Damn,
definitely head over to BAPS.
General admissions 15 to pits are 35. Are you sure that's right?
That's right.
That sounds about right.
That's why you saw me at Lincoln on Saturday.
That's what Bloomsburg was. It's 15 to get in, but it's 30 for the pits. Back
30,
gate, baby.
35. That's like holy shit. 10 less than an outlaw show.
$5 for students. If you're 60 or older, $13.
Well, I identify as 60 or older.
I was gonna say, the way your back's been,
But
you might.
that's-
You could,
Like a 60 or older.
That's like we talk about Lincoln. That's why I was there, because it was either if I was going to Bass, I was going to go to the pits. I'm like, well, for $35, I could go to do anything at Lincoln, and I like big race cars.
It was 30. I think the pits were 30 at Lincoln.
They were the same price, 35.
It was 410, 358s.
Yeah, that one's. If I have the option, I'm always going to go that way.
Yeah, I love BAPS, but I'm a 410 homer. I can't not do it. Now, soon I'm going to take my son. We're going to go to BAPS one night. Cheap night at BAPS, sit in the crowd. But I really should take him to Lincoln in the the sandbox at
really
Lincoln.
take him
probably
to
catch
Williams
lice
Grove.
from some of those Lincoln kids.
Williams Grove is where you should do it, because most likely there won't be any B mains. So you just go shoo, in and out.
Yeah, but I'm an hour from home. If he wants to go home, I'm 20 minutes from BAPS. I'm an hour from the Grove.
Yeah,
He
you're
wants
right.
to leave. You know what I mean?
I forget that you live far away, because everything's not far from me. That's what it was like.
What would be
BAPS
cool
and
is-
Lincoln are a 10-minute difference. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, like BAPS would be cool to take him to like the Outback track. I don't know when they run it, if they run it anymore, to like quarter midgets and let them, we sit and watch like quarter midgets and stuff around the Outback. We're up close and kind of come and go as you want,
That's something I went from at Pocono. Pocono, they have this youth series, and they had a national race there at Pocono because they have a little quarter midget track. Over 120 friggin' quarter midgets came out all weekend. That was another cool thing that they had. So even if you're a dirt track fan, you don't like NASCAR, you can go watch some dirt track racing because they have a little dirt track out on the outside with quarter midgets, and it was pretty cool.
So it's outside and it's a dirt track. That's cool.
Yeah, it's just out. It's just out in the parking lot.
No, that's dope. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that dirt track
I watched
outside.
that a couple
It's
years
right
ago
on the
during the
Blake
doubleheader.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I remember when the first time I went there, I guess it was 2003. We were leaving, and I'm like, oh, what the hell is these little race cars over there? My dad and I were like, oh, look, race cars.
And they did the smart thing, because usually they just have like a normal Friday or Saturday night show there where they have like maybe like 20, 30 cars there. But they had, they made it a national race. So people from all over, they had over 100 cars there.
Is that the series that NASCAR bought?
Yes, it's the series that NASCAR bought.
How about them apples?
So it was smart. Brought in, they made it a national race, and it brought in over 100 cars. So
picks of the week.
I did not. It was too far of a walk for me. But I was talking to some people. I was in line trying to get something from somewhere, and we were talking about it, and they were talking about all the people that are brought out from all over and everything. So it's cool. It was. I wanted to get out there, but there's so much other racing going on. There's 4 other races throughout the weekend, so
And they had to survive a hurricane again.
Yeah.
Tradition.
yeah.
So you guys picked Reitzel. I'm not picking Reitzel. I feel it's dirty.
Oh, okay, Macedo.
Cole Macedo,
No,
360 Nationals.
yeah, they put a 360.
Carson
on.
Macedo is not running 360 Nationals.
He's not entered this year.
No, they're running I-55. They're running the Ironman. Outlaws are.
Yeah, he's a little busy.
He's
So-
ran in the past. I didn't know they weren't. So, all right, fair enough.
Tyler
I'll take Blake
picks
Holland.
Darren Pittman in the Fordbrook 5, and then Ampe says a McCarr. There's over 100 360s.
I got to look at the 360
enter.
entry list. Hold on.
Yeah, I
That's
should
what I'm
have.
That's what I'm
I should've-
actively finding right now.
Yeah, where's your graphic for this, Tony?
I know I should have had it up.
That's what I thought he was sending him.
Yeah,
I did too.
Pittman's in the 5 car. I could see it. I could see that.
Isn't that 39M running it?
Jeremy McCoon's running it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Justin Sanders should be running it.
That's my pick.
Sammy.
I kind of like that pick.
No.
Aaron Reitzel's been really good at a 360. there
Justin
for like
Peck's in
3
the
years.
20. That 20 that runs around here.
Oh, I did not know that.
Wait,
Yeah, because
Matt,
All Stars
you
aren't
got
running this weekend because of that.
Rico's in a 24R. Rico's in the 360
Rico.
Nationals.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of money up for grabs. It's good practice for. This is where we get into it. You get the Ironman and 360 this weekend.
Yeah.
Then you
Give
get the
me-
Cappy Classic on Sunday, and then it goes right into Knoxville. So I mean, we're
It's
going right.
hard to pick against Rico Abreu right now, though.
You know what?
I think
I'll
he's the
take-
favorite for
Everything.
almost everything right now.
I'm taking 2. I'm taking Austin McCarl and Blake Hahn.
No. I'm gonna do copy Jeremy. I'm taking 2. I'm gonna do Justin Sanders and Rico Abreu.
Wait a minute. When's
Simple as
Carmen
that.
running at Lincoln? This weekend?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know.
Told you all we're going to Lincoln.
I'm going to Port. Sorry, Brett.
Sorry, Brad. I'm going to fucking
Be
Port.
there in spirit. I'm
I
going to
love you,
Port.
Brad.
Actually, I don't see 39M entered.
Oh wait, that
I
was just
thought
the
they were
first
with.
day.
Maybe
I
they're
thought
not.
they were too, but they're not.
Maybe they withdrew.
Shit, I only looked at Thursday.
All right, Brian Brown. We're going
Davey
Brian Brown.
Heston.
Brian Brown is in there. That's
Yeah,
my
it's there.
pick.
Brian Brown. He's gonna sweep the Nationals.
Listen, I'll take the 7BC that says TBA.
Oh,
Macri.
It's in there. 7BC's there.
I mean, they announced that. I thought too.
Did they?
Yeah, I think so.
Casey Kane in the 9T.
He might make it through his prelim.
Maybe he'll make the 8 vein.
He might need a break halfway through.
Brady Bacon. Brady Bacon.
No.
Oh, Garrett Williams. The name to look out for, Garrett Williamson.
Yeah, he's been
No.
strong.
We're just
Like-
gonna name the whole field because it's
We're
360
just gonna-
Nationals, and they're all good. Stunned.
Zeb's running
No,
through.
they're not all good. Let's be real. There's maybe
I-
there's probably like 2
You
dozen
could
though that are
make
good.
you could make a case for a feature lineup worth of people that could win this race, just like
Absolutely.
the 410 one.
And next week we'll get into the 410 Nationals.
We might as well just have an hour for that because
Cappy Classic. Rico.
if he even runs it,
No,
Brett Marks
I'll
shows
pick
up there.
Brad Sweet. It's flat. It's big. Brad Sweet.
And then you got the Ironman I-55. It's kind of hard to pick against Sheldon. Or
oh, it's not David Gravel.
he did.
Um,
I mean, Sheldon 2 years ago didn't he like lap the field in that race?
yeah, that's 2 years ago. What'd you do for me lately?
That's true.
David Gravel.
I don't disagree.
He's being smart, Chris. Don't you talk logic out of him. Don't. He's not actually trolling with this. He doesn't even
I
like
know.
Sheldon. Sheldon.
I know, but I had to put him
Logan
back.
for the I-55. Sure.
I was gonna take Logan for the Cappy because I'm not picking Brad Sweet. I don't care what Jeremy tells me to do.
That's could be Macedo too.
I would get into more Knoxville, but we'll save that for next week because we can dark
We can talk
horses
a lot.
favorites. We could talk a lot
I was
about
talking
that.
about just Cappy. They still do
Cappy,
the front row
yeah.
challenge thing, Oski. They still do that.
Yeah, they do. That'll be on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is
Brian Brown.
Nationals, and then Saturday.
Oh
is
yeah,
obviously
wait.
Nationals.
Wait. Oski. That's Brad Sweet. That's what I was thinking. Not
Yeah,
yes.
Cappy's Knoxville.
Southern Missouri Speedway or something. What's it called?
Oh, they got midgets with at I-55 with World of Outlaws, so that should be fun.
Oh, Jade, yeah, she's on fire with the
Yeah.
XR midgets. Yeah, I don't know. I'm taking
Cool.
Logan Schuhart, Cappy, Schuhart, win or gravel I-55.
Which midgets are there? Is it the
Probably the
Outlaw
Extreme.
midgets, or is it the
I would imagine it would be the Extreme series,
yeah. So give me
Jade.
which I think they come to PA then right after, and they start their Speed Week or whatever you want to call it here. They go to
Eastern.
Path and
Don't want to call it Eastern Storm because that's taken.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
they go there. They
Probably-
go
Probably Eastern
Kutztown,
Hurricane.
I think.
Eastern Swing.
They just call it Eastern Hurricane to be a little bit different, kind of like Bowhunter's Brawl.
Eastern Tornado. Eastern Severe Thunderstorm.
Eastern Weather Front.
At Port, it'll be Archery Adventure.
Lanco, Linda's, Path Valley, Kutztown, and Bridgeport.
Oh,
I love watching the midgets. I'm there was a time where the midgets came to Bloomsburg. That was cool.
He's gonna cry. He
I'm
loses.
gonna cry.
He loses his driver, his car, and his track all in the same week.
Yo,
He's gonna,
thanks for the reminder.
I think we're done here. Are we done?
I
here?
think we are. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. This has been awesome. It's good to be back. We'll try to get some driver interviews. You know, it's been kind of tough in the middle of the summer.
Well,
you know,
At this point, we talk enough. We could just do this.
we
thing for
talk enough.
3
Yeah,
hours.
There's enough going on.
we talk enough
More
with
than-
you guys. We love talking to you guys. So, Path Valley on Friday.
Oh yeah, that 410 show at Big Diamond. That's the one I went to last year. I might try to do
I might
that
go to
again
Path
this year.
Valley. I might do Path Valley then.
Oh, is
Oh,
there,
we'll see.
what else is
Chances
running?
are for us, it'll probably rain all week.
Yeah, it's a Friday. So
The way it's
wonder
been
what's
going.
running. Is there anything running with Path that night? Or with the
I wish Wingless Sportsmen were.
Why?
probably
Yeah,
have
that's
nine.
what
They'll
we-
probably have 9 divisions.
But yeah,
That's what
Lincoln
we do.
has wingless sportsmen's too. So too bad Brett's not taking his car. He's
I
a
know.
coward.
Wait,
Listen, if they were doing a double, if the Paragos were doing a double, I
Yeah.
would make the trip to Lincoln.
But he's
But-
not.
we agree.
because
No,
he's
no
not-
disrespect, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
go to Port.
disrespect to Carmen. Like, please.
I'm gonna save myself over an hour drive and go just go to Port.
I'm gonna double my drive and go to Port. That's how much I wanted from Carmen Carago. But I'd go if it was Brett. That's my boy.
Brett Parago confirmed the camp out with us at Tusky.
That is confirmed as
That-
today.
that's
He's buying a
confirmed.
tent. He's buying
By
a
the
tent,
tent and
by the way.
everything. We're gonna have a great time
He
this
did
year. at
offer.
Tuscarora.
Jimmy did offer up
We
a
got some
12-man
good
tent.
plans. We
That
got some
way,
big
like,
plans for it this year. So
Jeremy, you can sleep with Brett in his tent. I think is what I
yeah,
heard.
it's a huge tent. It's like a 12-person tent.
I have a fucking tent. I can bring my own.
I told Brett I had 3 tents, and he still wants to go buy one.
My seat is open if any of you three want to drive. Yeah, I'll jump
That's
in.
great,
that.
Brett. How are we gonna work on it? Because you're not gonna help us. Jimmy put air in the wrong
Hey.
tire last time.
Hey, I put
It's
air
like-
in instead of taking
Why
air
would
out.
one of us drive it when you could drive it?
Yeah,
If
idiot.
somebody says, if you've never done anything before, and somebody says, "Hey, put 5 pounds in that," you would
You're
think
adding
to put it in, add it in, not take it out to make it 5 pounds.
I don't think I would say that.
I
on the
know that
air with
now.
all
I
these
knew
crew
it.
chiefs
I knew it after
working.
3 seconds. I caught myself.
Brett just wants to see his car junked, and one of us dead.
Stop
All right.
it. All right,
So
done.
wish us luck for softball. Keep eyes posted to socials. We'll keep you guys updated on
Yeah, that's what you
who
wanna
is
see,
going
too,
to the
'cause we-
hospital and all
No.
that.
No, why would you say
And then
that?
we'll be at Port hopefully, and we'll be back next Monday with another show.
We promise.
Thanks,
We
everybody.
promise this time.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
for coming in. Appreciate everybody.